He did an appearance, a meet and greet with Patty the Batty for last weekend's card. So we're going to talk to Mike Straka here momentarily. Then we're going to go outside the realm a little. I'm really excited about this. First, we will welcome back Marlon Wayans, who will be performing this weekend back on stage in Orlando. And I haven't spoken to Anson Williams in roughly 25 years, maybe even 30 years. And have a funny story with him. And he will be on the start of the third hour. So action-packed. It's going to be a lot of fun. Solo in the seats here today, so that'll be interesting as well. Mike called a little while ago, a little early. That's how excited he was in anticipation of his announcements and what he's doing up in the New Jersey area. So I did not, did you catch last night's All-Star game? I know a lot of people, including my son, called and was so hyped on how it ended and how they took the extra innings. That's right. They didn't go into extra innings, as they then had a home run derby, a swing off. And I got to question the talent that they chose for the three selections on really both. But fortunate for the National League, they went with one of, I know a lot of Philly fans believe, the greatest leadoff hitter of all time. That will be, as far as I'm concerned, as long as I'm alive, will be the late, great Ricky Henderson. But Kyle Schwarberg, 3 swings, 3 home runs, 3 ding-dongs, and then gets voted the MVP of the All-Star game. Even though he had no hits in the game, he did hit the 3 homers in the swing-off, but no hits, no action in the field. I don't know who else you would really give it to. 3 home runs by Kyle enabled the National League to win. So we'll probably talk about that over the next couple hours. Derek Lewis did exactly what he claimed the UFC already predicted. Because if you heard, and if you didn't, Derek Lewis says the UFC is scripted and that it's scripted for him to win in the first round by knockout and to win early in the first round. And that's exactly what he did. A lot of people think that the fight was stopped a little early. It's hard to judge that. You know, if anybody's going to be critical in the past, it has been me. But being a referee is probably the most difficult job in MMA. Harder than being the fighter, because he has everything in his hands. Did he stop it too early? Did he let it too go? And the same people that complain that the referee stops it too early will be the same ones to say that he let it go or they let it go too long. So it's very difficult. Everybody messes up. Judges mess up, referees mess up, corners mess up, fighters mess up, but everybody else can get on with it. The referee, it could be life and death. And if that's the case, a little early obviously is a lot better than this much. And we are live on the YouTube channel, that much too late. So we are streaming on the Knockout Radio YouTube channel. You'll be able to see, hear phone calls. We are still working on the StreamYard, and hopefully at some point we will get that up and going. Tickets for Canelo Crawford go on sale. I believe it's this Friday. We can talk about that. The home run derby, I'm bouncing all around. I made a list, and I'm trying to get through the list before we go to our first break and our first conversation, which will be with UFC main eventer. Main eventer. He is the main event of the prelim card, but Adam Fugit coming up here momentarily. So trying to get through as much as we can. Not sure many of you caught this, even though more people are watching the WNBA because of one person and one person only. But the Connecticut team had to move, or wanted to move, the game against Indiana to the Boston Garden so that they could sell. It was somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000 more seats, because one person and one person alone is pushing that and getting more eyes on the WNBA. It says, I'm trying to run down. We will talk about, over the next couple hours, the suspension of high school football coach Teddy Bridgewater and the ridiculous thing that he got suspended for, or ridiculous things that he got suspended for. And now that the players are allowed to, what is it called? The NIT, NIG, LMNOP, whatever letters they go by, that now college players can be compensated. When will that filter down to high school players? Could that be right around the corner? And Bridgewater was suspended for helping his team, taking care of his team, providing rides for his team to practice and things that it's just silly that you can get suspended for, that you do get suspended for. And it's something that we would hope more coaches would do. Let's try to take care of your team. No, let them. I remember Galen Hall got suspended back in the day because he picked up one of his athletes and gave him a ride in the rain. He was walking back to his dorm, his apartment, to Burger King. And where do you hear the Burger King story? The $20, I think it's a $20 Burger King sandwich in Japan. But Galen Hall picked up a player in the rain, assisted, got him home or got him wherever he was going, and got suspended. Also, the Tampa Bay Rays will be moved out of St. Petersburg because I guess the new owner doesn't realize the city of St. Petersburg is in Tampa Bay. And he says that they will stay in Tampa Bay, but over in Tampa. So I was pretty adamant that they would stay in St. Pete under the present ownership. But now that it is being moved or being sold, we will find out how that plays out. A couple other things that we'll run down real quick. The Ben Askren story. I've got some issues there. We'll push everything back a couple minutes. On the phone with us right now after his reappearance and his meet and greet with none other than Patty the Batty, Mike Stratka. Mike, what's up?
What's up, Randy? How you doing, man?
Doing good. I was really excited to be here, but I want to hear more. How did it go? How did it go down? And how cool is Patty?
Patty Pennington is the coolest dude. I almost call him Pennington. He is such a sweetheart, man. Like, I was not expecting. He was so subdued and so calm. Like, you know how he is in his public persona. He's extremely, vivacious, for lack of a better word. And he was very good with the fans. He was very good with me. Like, he was just calm. I could tell you one thing, though, Randy, that surprised me. That boy can eat.
Oh, yeah. Well, we know that. We see him after fights. I thought we were going to say what surprised you is that he picks up dog poop.
Well, yeah, that too. That's just being a good neighbor, though.
True. So,
well, he's a very large person for 155. I'm thinking, I was, at Frankie Edgar's house the other day, and after I saw Patty, I was like, I can't imagine Frankie having to fight Patty, because Frankie's 5'6", and Patty's got to be 5'11", and he must walk around at 205. There's no way he was under 200 pounds.
I think Julia Pena calls that weight bully.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you see the picture of he and I together.
Yeah.
He looks like Brock Lesnar next to me.
And let me just address, what Pena says and what other people say about weight bully, whatever. If they make weight, it's within the rules. And as much as I would like to see weigh-ins being the day of the fight so that this doesn't happen, if they're going to continue doing that, then people like Patty who can do it and will make weight, there's nothing against it.
There's nothing against it. It's funny you talked about this now, because I got a haircut this morning, and my barber was saying the same thing. He goes, "Why don't you guys weigh in on the same day?" And, I think a lot of it has to do with money too. These are prize fighters. They're professionals, and fans want to see exciting fights, and they want to see studs out there. So if that's the name of the game, then that's the name of the game.
No, 100%. I would like to see, and I know we've talked about this in the past, I would like to see bigger penalties when you miss weight. I would like to see bigger penalties when you commit a foul, not, don't do it again. This is a warning. This is a stern warning. This is a double stern warning. 3 more warnings, and I'm going to deduct half a point.
I feel like there shouldn't be a 1 pound allowance.
Well, but there is.
I know. I think there shouldn't be.
Oh, there shouldn't be. Okay.
especially for somebody like Patty. So all he's got to do is get to 156, and then by fight night he's 185.
Right. I don't know if that would change that much, because once you know that you can get to 156, and that's what they aim for, 155.9. If it was 155, I think, and you called them professionals. I was going to jump in and say most are, but the professionals will be able to adapt if they would ever implement that, which we know obviously is only for title fights.
Right. Well, I just think that there's I don't know. There's such a discrepancy when it comes to cutting weight. I've done it my whole life, as people who have done it their whole lives, as wrestlers. It's just, I'm glad I have daughters, because I wouldn't let my son cut weight.
No, for sure. For sure. I know that I asked you to call in sooner. Can we put you back on the time we were going to talk to you? Because now, coming up, Adam Fugit fights this weekend. Sure. I want to try to stay on time. And I definitely want to catch up. I'm so happy. I'm so excited, as I continue to follow, what you're doing. So we're going to put you back on. I think you're going to call back in about an hour. We'll catch up again, and it'll be great to talk to you again on this program. Your program.
Talk to you soon.
This is your program. You're still the co-host.
I love it.
All right. We'll talk to Mike Straka again here momentarily. We're going to run to a break here, and then when we come back, we'll head down to New Orleans and get the ball rolling with UFC 317, 318. I was just at a UFC. I was just at 3 UFCs. So, all right, we're going to go hit this break as I get a hold of Ed. There we go. And when we come back, headed to New Orleans, big exciting card. We've got a main eventer when we return.
Hi, this is Terry Checker, right here talking sports with Randy Harris.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast. Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
Say goodbye to outdated equipment and welcome the latest smart technology into your home. With Cool Breeze AC, you can effortlessly control the temperature and create the perfect environment from anywhere at any time. Call Cool Breeze today at 727-954-3605.
You're hungry. Where do you go to eat?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
You want to have a drink? Where do you go?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Having a get-together with the guys from the softball team? Where do you do it?
That's right, Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Located at 1320 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, right across from Tropicana Field. Berg's is the best place to take the whole family for food and fun. Going to a Rays game? Have dinner before the game at Berg's, and after the Rays win, come and celebrate with all your friends at Berg's, right across from the Trop. So come down and see Berg and the whole gang at Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Experience the charming Country Depot gift shop located in the heart of downtown Brooksville, located at 36 North Broad Street. From sports memorabilia to antiques, from handbags to one-of-a-kind art and decor, the Country Depot has it all. Check them out at countrydepot.com, Country Depot on Facebook, or stop by the store at 36 North Broad Street in downtown Brooksville. 8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8 Man Strong.
Hey, this is Cecil Fielder from Detroit, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
All right, we're back coming to you live from the Tan Talk Radio Network studios. Cecil Fielder gave me that liner at the All-Star Game years ago. We'll continue talking about last night's All-Star Game and the 3 Schwarbombs enabling the National League to win last night's World Series. But right now, we'll jump down to New Orleans as we get ready for another action-packed UFC event. And let's welcome the main eventer of the early prelim card, Adam Fugit. Adam, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you for having me on. And shout out to Cal Raleigh for the home run derby win.
How about that? 3 swings. Yeah. Now, everybody's saying he had 3 pitches. He didn't. It was 4 pitches. He took 1 pitch, but 3 bombs and 3 swings is pretty impressive.
That is, and the more I look into Cal, knowing that he's a switch hitter as well, and he's hitting all these bombs, that's impressive.
Are you a baseball fan, or what are you a fan of other sports?
Baseball was my first love coming up as a kid in sports. Back in the Griffey days when he was in Seattle, he wasn't there very long when I got into baseball, but that was my first love for sure. And then basically it transitioned into recently basketball, because Portland up in Oregon is the only sports team, professional sports team we got. So I had to support Damian Lillard and the Trailblazers before he left.
So the switch from baseball, I'm going to assume that you switched from baseball, to basketball and then to become a fighter because you thought those bench clearing brawls were so boring.
Well, let's say as a kid, I had a little too much physicality for any other sports, and I ended up finding wrestling, and that was it for me. I knew exactly where I needed to be and what I wanted to do.
I'll tell you a silly off the wall story. So I was the bat boy for the St. Louis Cardinals back in the day. And in spring training, it was A-League. I did the St. Louis Cardinals big club, and then I did A-League during the season. We had a bench clearing brawl with the Tampa Reds. And as a bat boy, I ended up somehow, I was beating up on the Reds bat boy.
Oh, you just jumped in there. Hey.
You got to do, right? You got to have your team's back. And even though I was just a kid, and then the manager, Hal Lanier, who then went on to manage in the big leagues, I remember grabbing him. He grabbed me by the back of the neck and threw me into the dugout. So basically that was my last time of being in a bench clearing brawl.
Well, I mean, you got to support the team when the things go down. You got to be in there.
Absolutely. Talk to me about fight week. I always like to ask that out of the blocks. Is it something that you try to stay mellow? You try not to think about obviously the job at hand. I call it Christmas on Saturday, or do you dwell on it? Is it all you're thinking about?
Oh, I mean, that's a great question. I try to stay as calm and collected as possible, and just know that I'm going to have those moments where I'm going to have intrusive thoughts and those rope grabbing thoughts. And all I can really do is reset back to that present moment of, what's the task at hand today? And right now we're in the get the weight down so we can make our weight cut on Friday and make weigh-ins. And that's all the process that we have for going for us right now. So, the fight is on Saturday, and all the things that are going to happen on Saturday or that's where they're going to happen, not to mumble or ramble.
No, for sure. And we talk about that a lot of times. There's no matter what, whether it's the fight on Saturday, whether it's, you're a juror at a jury, or it's going to happen. So it really makes no sense to use energy to dwell on something that no matter what you do or we do, it's still going to happen on whatever day it's scheduled to do.
100%. And if you get too caught up in thinking about the future or even the past, past results or whatever, that's just going to add to your stress. It's going to, basically overproduce your cortisol. Your cortisol levels are going to climb, and then it's going to make your weight cut even tougher. And next thing you'll be in that moment and be regretting, the weight not coming off as fast. So it's just best to relax and find, I got my Nintendo Switch with me. I got some books. I got a puzzle.
You got to stay busy.
Whatever you can do to stay busy.
Let me ask you this. Do you find yourself looking at social media, not responding, but, whether it's, I happen to check, and normally I don't like to look at anything. I like these conversations to just kind of flow. I don't want to know anything, but I like to get 1 or 2 things and then run with it. And I happen to look at odds. Do you look at odds? Does it bother you? Does it motivate you? Or do you not even worry about what's happening out in social media world?
It's been a long time coming, and I can't say that the intrusive thought doesn't roll into my mind here or there, but this has been my career, to be honest, it's always been the often overlooked, the underdog story, or the guy that they don't think much of, the one they brought in to lose. So, that's been the story of my career, and I just got to continue to go in there and do what I do, and have to prove everybody wrong and prove myself correct. What I believe in myself is, I always like to say that nobody can tell me about myself better than myself.
Sure.
So I try to stay away from looking at that stuff, because all it does is create those intrusive thoughts. But I know what they're saying. It's not a surprise to me.
And I'm the type of person, and I'm going to assume you are as well, as much as I don't like, I do like. I want people to think that of me. I want them to not expect me to build what I've built. And I'm sure you don't know this. I've covered the UFC longer than anyone in the world. I started at UFC 1, when people used to always make fun of MMA and the UFC, and built up a pretty big 70 million views, et cetera, et cetera. So you don't want to see it, but you kind of use it as a little, what?
What is shoot? Adam Sandler made Waterboy. Bobby Boucher uses tackling fuel.
Exactly. What's not fight week, but what is a normal relaxing day for you at home?
Oh shoot, I'm so much of a homebody. It's kind of disgusting. I wake up and usually go in Arizona this time of year. It's too hot, but usually wake up and get to work on the breakfast. And then breakfast, I'm gonna have a little coffee and read a little bit. Try to stay off the social media until midday or so, and even then I'm not on that long. And then if we're training, then I have training at 10 and lunch after that. If it's a weekend, we're trying to figure out what we can get out of the house and go do, be it some cold plunge and sauna work, or we got some paddle boards now and take it out to Lake Pleasant. We just try to find an activity for the day. And then I always like to have something planned, especially on an off day, like a meal to make. So I've been trying to get into cooking more, understanding how to cook for myself for my diet. And then, sometimes I just want to cook a cheat meal and grill up a nice burger and some fries,
Sure. What came to the decision of the move? Because you recently moved to Arizona, correct?
Correct. When you kind of reach the that was the best in my gym, but I didn't really have anybody that was challenging me as far as partners. And I found myself with my coaching hat on far more than I had my student cap on. So I just kind of felt like it was time that if I was either going to get stagnant where I was at, or I would need to go and try to extend myself and continue to be, learning and getting better. And I think that's a huge part of our sport. If you're not continuing to get better and learning, then you're going to be falling behind for sure.
No, absolutely. What's the craziest, strangest, funniest thing that ever happened to you or involving you in the middle of a fight?
Good question. I haven't really thought about that. No. The strangest, craziest thing that happened to me.
And maybe nothing. Sometimes we hear some pretty crazy stories.
Yeah, I can't really say.
Okay.
The strangest thing that's ever happened, not in a fight, but it was in the practice room in high school. I was wrestling off for varsity position, and we got into this just scramble of a situation, and I ended up coming down on the elbow and getting a couple of teeth rearranged.
Well, all right. That's not funny, but that's
it's definitely not funny. I guess what was funny after the fact was going down the stairwell and just, having my teeth messed up. And the most awkward moment of the whole thing was in the stairwell having to sneeze, and all the cheerleaders were there.
Oh.
So there you go.
All right. It's a crazy story. We'll
There
call it
you
crazy, not funny. In closing, let's talk about Saturday and what can the fans, your team, what can everybody expect to see when you get back in the octagon?
Well, it's a cliche, but I'm going to see the best version of myself. I'm going to go in there and, try to be the melting pot of MMA that I am. I like to think that that's where my skills best lie, is being an MMA fighter, not, in any one aspect of fighting. So got to get in there and basically dissect and figure out what the best tools for the situation are.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to it. Adam, thank you very much for your time. I know we have your address. We're going to send you a care package from 8 Man Strong for coming on and talking to us, and enjoy the week. And like I said, I call it Christmas. Enjoy Christmas on Saturday when you do what you do.
That's totally correct. Thank you for having me on and taking the time, and you have a great rest of your day.
You as well. That is awesome. As we continue getting ready for this weekend's UFC, we're going to hit a quick break. When we come back, we are going to have on the phone with us former UFC heavyweight champ and now slap fight super heavyweight champion, Tim Sylvia. And I got something to address with him, and I know he's had to answer this before, and we'll do it when we return.
This is Kurt Gowdy, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8 Man Strong.
Check out fantasypets.com, where fantasy meets cutting-edge technology. We create breathtaking 3D printed fantasy creatures that captivate hearts and minds, from the T-Rex to the dragons and the shark to the crocodile. Every fantasy pet is a testament to our dedication and precision and quality. You can request custom designs and bulk pricing as well. Go to fantasypets.com. That's fantasypets.com.
The once-a-year event is back. Tampa Bay Comic Convention is coming your way August 1st through the 3rd. Join the ultimate 3-day pop culture experience where you can meet your favorite celebrities, explore an immersive vendor hall, hear special guests share stories, and connect with a community that shares your passion. Tampa Bay Comic Convention is the perfect place to bring your family, make new friends, and share unforgettable moments with fellow fans. Save on tickets now with promo code MAGIC at TampaBayComicConvention.com.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
Hi, everybody. Ernie Harwell of the Detroit Tigers, and I want to recommend Talking Sports with Randy Harris, one of the great shows of all time.
All right, we are back coming to you live from the Tan Talk Radio Network. There was just another Schwarbaum hit. Well, there wasn't, but after last night, 4 pitches, 3 home runs. 4 pitches, 3 swings, 3 home runs. Adam misunderstood, and I didn't want to obviously correct him. He was talking about the home run derby with the switch hitter, first time a switch hitting catcher, blah, 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 blah. And how cool was it when he did switch sides? And what a difficult decision that must have been, because, he was finally getting in the groove, and then he goes and switches sides. But obviously it worked out well. He ended up winning. And how cool, dad pitching, son hitting, and younger brother catching. And he kind of said to his brother when they went and talked afterwards, I guess big brother's buying little brother a new car for calling such good pitches. But let's speak to someone defending his title this weekend, my good friend of a very, very long time, Tim Sylvia. Tim, how are you?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Rocking and rolling. Things are good here. And obviously things are good with you. I believe the unveiling of your shirt is like any minute away, any day away.
I think my shirt should be unveiled now, but Sean, my shirt unveiled yet for my new shirt for the Slap Fight? Slap Fight shirt is online. It's online, available now.
Okay, Slap Fight shirt is, and we're gonna put something out during the show of anybody who purchases that shirt and posts it where I can see it. We're gonna put them in a drawing for something cool. I might even have some old Tim Sylvia back in the day autographs.
Well, and also they just go to, they can go to getslept.com and get themselves a shirt.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We also, I think we overnighted you some stuff.
Correct.
And I don't think it's got there today, did it?
No, the overnight system didn't work.
But
you know what the beauty of the overnight system not working?
Well, we get our money back.
You get your money back, right? Exactly. So the shirt's shipped. We're still going to do some giveaways. We're going to start wearing them as well. But then you get your money back. So it's a win-win.
Well, but if you don't get them today, like we wanted.
Right. Exactly. So talk about the difference in preparing, for your title defense back in the day to your title defense that's coming up this weekend.
Well, obviously, it's not a fight. It's not a fight camp.
Exactly.
My dieting is not on point. I do absolutely no cardio whatsoever. But where? You did, and I have a couple morons in the background.
Yeah, I know.
That decided to say something. But anyhow, yeah, I don't even know where I was at because they were so rudely interrupting me.
You're talking about that there really is no fight camp, and you don't have to watch.
No, I just lift weights heavy. That's all I do.
When was the last time somebody laughed at you, like we got laughed at the Dodger game for how much food we were eating?
I don't eat like that anymore.
I don't either.
I eat like a lot throughout the day, but not like big sittings like that. But, that was after a fight. After fight camps, man, I would just be miserable every day because I'd eat so much of everything.
I know that you've addressed this before, and I know we've never talked about it on the air, but I responded to something, and I don't know if you saw it. So somebody put a post up of UFC legend Derek Lewis.
Jeez.
And I'm not ripping Derek Lewis. He didn't do it, but this is what people are calling him, a UFC legend. And I know that you and Sean and everybody, the group of people you said that are in the background, know where I stand. Legend is the most overused word I've ever heard, and blah, blah, blah,
Absolutely.
blah, blah. So I asked him, I said, well, what makes him a legend? And well, he has the most knockouts and blah, blah, blah. So I said, all right, I have a question for you. What is more impressive and what makes you more a legend? The most knockouts in any division or a 2-time UFC champion?
5-time.
Well, I said 2-time. I'm just saying, I just said 2-time. I didn't say you yet.
Gotcha.
And they said 2-time. I said, okay. I said, is Derek Lewis a legend? They said, yes. I said, is Tim Sylvia a legend? They said, no. And it pissed me off. And why is that? Why do you still not get the respect that you deserve and that you earned back in the day?
I mean, Dana White's kind of blackballed me, so I'm guessing that's why.
But so many people, and I like Dana, and Dana's take pretty good care of
me.
And blah, blah,
I don't.
Blah.
I mean, I don't hold any remorse.
I know
it is what it is.
No, I'm just saying. So, but there's a lot of people that dislike Dana. So you would imagine the people that dislike Dana would like anything that Dana dislikes. You know what I'm saying? So there should be
maybe they don't know how much he hates me. I don't know. Let's get that out there. He hates me.
I will. All right, that's what I'll work on. But what do you remember most, of those days?
Most?
Yeah. What's like the first, like I always say this, the first thing that comes to my mind is when you won the title and everybody disappeared and you're carrying your own gear, out. It's like, where did everybody go?
Well, that was a good thing with the military scam. Nobody was on a higher pedestal there. You're just another guy, and cool, you won a world title. Well, so what? 5 of us others have as well. What's your point?
Which is good and bad, I guess. I
Correct. It is. Yeah. It's easy to stay humble there.
No, for sure. I remember, and I don't know if you were there when Marcus Jones came up. Were you still there?
I have no idea who that is.
Okay, Marcus Jones fought at UFC 100. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. And just before he went on to The Ultimate Fighter, he was a very good friend of mine, Tampa Bay Buccaneer, first-round draft pick, blah, 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 blah. And I kept saying, you need to go to a different camp. I know that you're training with Rob Kahn, Hoist Gracie's first American black belt here locally. I said, you got to spread the wings a little. You're not leaving, Rob. You're just spreading. And he didn't want to go. He thought it was disrespectful. Finally, I talked him into it. He went up to Militich. First day, they put him in the hospital. He was so dehydrated, and they were trying to break him, like everybody normally does. And I got a call that night, and that's the last.
So what you say is they broke him.
Well, here's where they didn't break him.
First day.
The first day he goes to the hospital, they call, they say, well, this is what happened. The next morning when Pat showed up, Marcus Jones was there waiting for him.
Yeah.
So they didn't break him. They just, did what they do. It's like what you do in the military or whatever. But, the old times back then. But let's skip ahead. I don't want to run out of time. I do want to talk about this weekend. And, what goes into the defense? What have you learned since you won the title when I stood, 2.3 inches away from you?
I mean, nothing's really changed since I won the title, really. I've lost a little bit more weight and just going in to knock this guy out. Hopefully he's clean this time. Last time I went against him, he was really dirty and clubbed and stepped and lost some turns and stuff like that. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time. Did
you grow the beard out even more so maybe he'll miss like the former fighter?
No, they actually just changed the rules and you're only allowed to have an inch on your face now.
Really?
Yeah. But I hate that look. I hate it when mine's big old bushy. I look like a dirtbag biker. So I actually just trimmed it up like a week ago. I couldn't take it anymore.
Well, the only thing that you could fix from looking like that is the beard. I mean, you can't do anything on your height. You're trying to do stuff on the weight, but so really the only thing to get away from that, I guess, would trim the beard.
Right. And as soon as the match is over, the next day I'll have it all trimmed up and looking real nice and neat again.
There you go. Update me on your son.
On my son?
Yeah.
He's playing football again, so I'm excited about that. He got a big shout out today for busting his ass at the practice. Today was skill training and then weightlifting and stuff. So he's doing that twice a week, and excited to get him back on the football field again.
How fast time flies. How old is he now?
14.
God. I remember when he was born and it seems like yesterday. I remember, back in the day, Ryan Bennett and Wes Sims and you and me and, two tables. It seems like yesterday when it was, 25 years ago?
Yeah. Crazy.
It probably even more. Talk about the shirt again. How much involvement, were you involved in the colors? Was that all Sean?
Yeah, I'm always I like black t-shirts. They're slimming. And we just drew a little cartoon character and I liked it. I thought it was cool. Me slapping a grizzly bear. Has me holding a belt and the cartoon character looks a lot like me. And a lot of people into the old cartoon stuff. So we launched this one and see how it does. At getslab.com. Hopefully it sells good and people enjoy it and we can make some money off it.
Is it important to have the caricature, extremely large so it'll make you more svelte?
Nah, I'm down to 3X now. So
are you really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Congrats. I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Can we talk about where the event is, or is that top secret?
San Antonio, Texas.
Well, I mean more than just that. I mean, can we talk?
They didn't know. They said where there's some famous basketball player's house. I don't know who he is, but all I do know, I think he's married to Eva Longoria.
Okay. All right.
She's hot. So
yeah. Well, that's nothing to do with the event, but talk about what it's going to be like to have this event in somebody's house. I
don't care. I'm not happy about it being there, to be honest with you.
Well,
I wish it was back in Branson, Missouri. I mean, it's more of a pain in the ass. You got to fly and all that bull crap, and it's limited to people who I can have come and watch, and like a bunch of streamers are making it so you can't wear like your shirts because they have sponsors. I'm like, I'm not making anybody have your sponsors. I do what I want. So apparently they don't know how this works, but the champ does what he wants to do.
Let me just jump in for a second. Yes, that's correct. This champ does what he wants to do, but I'm pretty sure if you were going to this event as the challenger or not even for a title, you would still do what you want to do.
Maybe me?
Yeah, you. I'm saying you.
Yeah, I'll do what I want. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I do like, where it was, in Missouri, underground, very few people.
Yeah, well, they have a new studio. They're even bigger that accommodates more people and better lighting and better sound and everything. And I was really looking forward to doing it there. Like I said, I'm not happy about the change of location.
Well, in a roundabout way, that's good. A mad Tim Sylvia is.
Yeah, I'm very irritated.
That's so unlike you. Do me a favor before we end this, and obviously we're going to talk on a regular basis as we do off the air. Talk about the other products that slept. It's not just you. There's some other fighters.
No, yeah,
we've got
we just launched a new Ben Rothwell shirt. So he's a world champion now in BKFC. Jessica Borger, she's a world champion in BKFC. And we have some, shirts that are like Chael Sonnen just got a couple shirts, F Around and Find Out, and Fighting Sells Everything. He's really happy about them. Quentin Jackson got those. I was on his podcast last week. He loves them. Brentley Gilbert's been wearing Fighting Sells Everything. So, that's just a shirt that I did 20 years ago, and it's just been around forever. People love it. And we just came out with 4 new ones, too, that we're really happy and excited about. Hopefully people grab those up, and they're excited about them as well.
Awesome.
One of them is bright pink, and it says, "My love language is violence." I
need that shirt.
I like it.
A, I like the saying, but B, I wear pink. I support.
Right, I do too.
Breast cancer. I've lost people to breast cancer, and I like pink, and I'm wearing it on my wrist as we speak. Tim, as always, thank you for your time. I know we have your address. We're going to send you and Sean, a package for.
You don't need to send Sean anything. You don't deserve anything.
Oh, then I'll just send both to you.
I'll just use it all. Thanks.
Well, just sew 2 of Sean's shirts together, and then you'll have one.
I got you.
Have a lot of fun this week. Everybody will be tuning in, and I'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks.
Take care. That is Tim Sylvia, GetSlept.com. Saying is taking off. The product is taken off. So is Tim Sylvia. All right, let's go hit a break. Coming to you live from the TAN Talk Radio Network. This is Knockout Radio.
Hey, this is Raleigh Fingers, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
You're hungry. Where do you go to eat?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
You want to have a drink? Where do you go?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Having a get-together with the guys from the softball team? Where do you do it?
That's right, Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Located at 1320 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, right across from Tropicana Field. Berg's is the best place to take the whole family for food and fun. Going to a Rays game? Have dinner before the game at Berg's, and after the Rays win, come and celebrate with all your friends at Berg's, right across from the Trop. So come down and see Berg and the whole gang at Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
8-Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8-Man Strong.
Hi, this is Ozzie Smith, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
All right, we are back, hanging out here in the TAN Talk Radio Network studios. First hour almost gone. Tim Sylvia defends his super heavyweight slap title. Check it out. This is, I believe, the guy he is slapping knocked him down, early in his slap career. So he's now defending the title. Let's see how that plays out. Tune in online, get all the information from Slap Fighting Championship. And there's also Power Slap in New Orleans on Friday. I was planning on going, credentialed to go, but some things have been coming up. That's why we had to cancel the show last week. And then I have to go take care of some things this weekend. So I'm going to miss it. I'm going to try to get to Chicago for Dreykus' title defense. So hopefully we can take care of that. Let's talk about, just for a minute or two, the announcement that the UFC, and there is no doubt in my mind this will happen, the UFC will have a card July 4th on the lawns of the White House. Now, Dana's already started talking about it, be limited, probably no ticket sales but, invited guests, this, that, the other. But how incredible will that be? And Dana was on with Pat McAfee yesterday and talked about that Donald Trump said that this is Americans' house. He wants to open it back up. You used to be able to go in, you used to be able to get tours. All you had to do is sign up for it. I was fortunate enough to get a tour there once. And then a lot of things changed. COVID changed, presidents changed, and now this president wants to bring that back. And there is absolutely no doubt in my mind whatsoever that this event will happen in the White House, on the White House grounds next year. And I'm really looking forward to it. Hoping that I'm credentialed. And if not, I've already said this privately. I'm going to say it publicly, that I will go up to the man in charge himself, either one, Donald Trump or Dana White, because I don't think I deserve a whole lot, but I think I do deserve to be there. So we will see how that plays out, and I'm looking forward to it. And, time will tell. All right, so briefly talked about the All-Star game last night, but let's briefly talk about, because I really don't care if the Rays get sold. Sell them, don't sell them, but it appears it has been sold. I don't know if you have a take on that at all, Ed, but 1.7, 1.8 billion. I don't know how much does Stu own? Do you know what percentage Stu owns?
He's the majority owner, so.
I just don't know if it's 70 or it could be.
I don't know the exact numbers.
It's still going to be a lot of money that goes to him.
Sure, and he's going to make more money than what he bought it for.
Oh, absolutely.
So he's gonna bail out, which is probably best for him, and definitely best for the area, because it's Hugh Culverhouse leaving all over again. And if I were buying the team, I would make sweeping change. Let me tell you. Let me rephrase it. If I bought the team, the first thing I would do is I would find a way to keep the general manager, Eric Neander, and all of the scouting department, because those are the ones that are feeding the athletes, the athletes we're getting. I would keep them. And then from there on, I'd probably make sweeping changes after that.
Are you for, it now appears they will be moving to Tampa?
I'm for wherever it works best. I like St. Pete. It as close as we are, it is a little bit of a hassle, and the parking is kind of a ripoff. I mean, $30 to park if you want anywhere close. I tell you what, when the Trop opens, the people are going to love the Trop, come April, because, only 10,000 fit in Steinbrenner Field.
Right.
And by the way, last night they came out and said, I guess that Manfred, the Major League commissioner, came out and said that if the Rays do make the playoffs, they're going to play in Steinbrenner Field.
Yeah, well, I don't know where else they would move them, and it wouldn't be right to move them.
I would move them to Miami.
Just for the money. Because that's all it would be, is money.
I think the fans would travel. I've asked a few that don't have season tickets right now, but were longtime season ticket holders, that they did not renew them for Steinbrenner Field because they were way too expensive than what they paid, and plus the fact that it was outdoors and it was going to rain, blah 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 blah. And I asked them, I said, if the Rays make the playoffs, will you go to a playoff game if it were in Miami? And they said absolutely.
Would they go to a playoff game if it's at Steinbrenner?
Well, yeah, if you could get in.
Well, you can get in. I mean, you can buy the ticket. It'll be expensive.
10,000. That's it.
Right.
And it's probably going to be less than that because media. There's going to be a lot more media there, so they're going to find a way to put them in there. So there's going to be a lot of standing room only tickets sold. So no, I would move it to Miami.
Have you been to Steinbrenner?
It was a long time ago. I've seen it on TV. It's a junior version of a regular field. I mean, it holds what it holds.
No, for sure. I mean, I went to a game. I didn't go because the Rays were playing. Yeah. I went because the Rays were playing the Phillies. Sat, in a great seat in the outfield, but it was hot. It was not even full. And I would say it was 70% Phillies fans.
Yeah, so, well, people are turned off by Steinbrenner. They are. believe it or not. It's like people that are here that say, I'm not going to go to Steinbrenner Field because it is outdoors. And it's going to rain, and it's going to be hot. So,
but my problem with that, not on you, but when people make those comments, they don't have a problem going to the rain and it's going to rain and there's a football game.
Well, there's a big difference between the Bucks right now and the Rays, and the fact that there are only 8 home games that you can choose from in a Bucks game.
No, that part
opposed
is
to
true. Sure.
What is there? 40?
80
home games.
Yeah.
For the Rays. So,
well, and not to correct you because you're bigger and you can still kick my ass. You said that they're not. I mean, the Rays were in first place. Now they're not right now, but they were.
No, they're falling fast again.
Well,
they're in their usual mid-year slump, and I have a problem when one player goes into a slump. That's one thing, but when the entire team goes into a slump, that's more than just bats just not hitting. There's something going on there. Could be the ownership. And then you mix in the fact that you paid a lot of money for a free agent guy to bring him in. He was hurt, and all cylinders were clicking, and this guy's healthy now. So you're going to sit one of your best players in Taylor Walls and put this guy in? I don't know. Players, you've been around athletes. They feel that. They see that. They hear that. And it comes down to the age-old thing. Not the best players are not on the field. The players making the most money are on the field.
Yeah.
That's when you get team turmoil.
No, for sure. And I know that I'm going to ask you to come on a little bit later and talk about the Bucks. Training camp opens next week. But being a baseball guy, follow it a little bit. I know you do. Your thoughts on last night's All-Star game and how they ended it?
I got bored. After a while.
Yeah, it's
baseball.
And
I switched it off, and I looked at it this morning, some highlights, and I see how it ended. And that's great and everything. And it's great for the city is what it is. It's great for the host city to get all those names there. I think the way they're going about it is nice. I know. I think last night was the first time in a long time that the players got to wear their actual uniforms,
which I like.
Yeah, I do too. Maybe the NFL could take a few notes from that, but I mean the Pro Bowl is a joke in the NFL. It's not even a game anymore. It's just flag. It's flag football, isn't it?
Yeah, it's flag.
Yeah. So,
a lot of people didn't like, how it ended last night. It's a baseball game. You're already doing the Mickey Mouse runners on second, and you can't this, you can't that. Play it out. You got enough players.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to even change it where you can put a player back in, that's fine.
There's risk. It's the same old thing.
Sure.
There is risk of injury, especially to pitching staff, that they won't allow the best pitchers out there. And I believe that there is an outcome to this game, that the winning league gets to host gets the home field advantage.
Right.
I don't think that's right. It should go to the best team that's playing in the playoffs.
Well, and I'm okay with that. Before they would just alternate. That I have a problem with. Just because you're lucky that year. I think the team with the best record should have it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I also like that they do make it, mean something. It may not mean something to everybody, but there's 8 teams, 9 teams, that could make the World Series in each, conference.
Yeah.
So, and predominantly, the upper teams, the Yankees, the Dodgers have their players there. So it was nice. Freddie Freeman got to, come home to Atlanta, got a nice ovation.
Yeah, I saw that part.
So that was all cool.
I watched a little bit of the home run derby. That was.
Yeah, and we'll talk about father, son, and son, and going on to win, and the guys taking the record from Johnny Bench, and we'll talk more over the next 2 hours. This is Knockout Radio. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Brooks Robinson, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way. 8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8 Man Strong.
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City.
FM 102.3.
Listen.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump has long criticized the Fed chair and was asked by reporters today if he planned to fire him. While he said it was highly unlikely.
He's always been too late, hence his nickname, Too Late. He should have cut interest rates a long time ago.
CBS's Jennifer Jacobs has more.
President Trump on Tuesday asked a group of GOP lawmakers if he should fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, and people in the room voiced approval, sources tell CBS News. Several say Trump indicated he will do it.
Trump has suggested he could attempt to remove Powell by arguing the central bank spent too much money for renovations of 2 historic office buildings. The president and the attorney general have been fending off criticism from both sides of the political aisle over the Jeffrey Epstein files. Scott McFarlane is at the Justice Department.
What a rare moment where you have Trump supporters and Trump opponents saying the same thing. Both calling for more information to be released, both calling for more transparency on this Epstein matter.
On Truth Social today, Trump blasted what he called a Democratic hoax. Police in Los Angeles have made an arrest in the murder of an American Idol music supervisor and her husband. Robin Kay and Thomas DeLuca were found dead at their home Monday afternoon. CBS's Carter Evans.
A spokesperson for American Idol said they are devastated by the couple's death, saying that Kay, quote, has been a cornerstone of the American Idol family since 2009 and was truly loved and respected by all who came in contact with her. Police are still working to come up with a motive for the killings.
Israel has been launching airstrikes into Syria today as a warning to the new government there not to attack the country's Druze minority. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the administration's been working to defuse the situation.
And we think we're on our way towards a real de-escalation and then hopefully get back on track in helping Syria build a country and arriving at a situation there in the Middle East is far more stable. So in the next few hours, we hope to see some real progress to end what you've been seeing over the last couple hours.
Another 20 Palestinians died today at an aid distribution site in Gaza, the BBC's Yolande Nell.
A video shows boys and men, their bodies on the back of a cart, with a witness saying that many of these boys had pushed forwards in their effort to get the food handouts at this site and were trapped in an area between 2 fences.
Gaza health officials say another 41 Palestinians died in Israeli airstrikes. On Wall Street, stocks have been mixed all day. Currently, they're higher. The Dow Jones Industrials is up 99 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, this is Bernie Williams from the Yankees, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
This is Lomas Brown, and you're talking sports with Randy, the Monster Jam Man.
All right, we are back 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. First hour action-packed. Where do you hear hour number 2? All right, let's head back down to or across the bay to New Orleans as we get ready for another action-packed UFC weekend. And let's welcome back to the program the main eventer of Saturday's prelim card, and that's Kyler Phillips. Kyler, how are you?
What's up, my man? Everything's good. We're over here in New Orleans. It's pretty cool right here on Bourbon Street, and I'm excited for the fight this weekend.
Well, that just took out one of the questions I was gonna ask or say. I always say that it's a work week. You know, you got to focus on Saturday. But do you get out? And I was going to then throw in a dig. Do you get out and go anywhere other than Bourbon Street?
Just in general, I think just have fun, but also like don't go too crazy. You know, like as far as hanging out with your best friends and getting training sessions in. You know, gaming a little bit, playing some video games. Go to the cemetery. Actually, go hit the mist. I was thinking about that. So. Yeah.
Well, that's not bad. That's not on Bourbon Street. So anything off of Bourbon Street, you know, obviously we were just there for the Super Bowl. Great city. A lot of, you know, people think, you know, New Orleans, they think Bourbon Street, nothing else. People think Las Vegas, they think the Strip, nothing else.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much other to do than obviously those road streets.
Oh, okay. You recommend anything? Yeah, it's pretty crazy down there.
I'll text you stuff because I don't want to get caught with, well, you recommended this and not that, and now don't ever come into our town. And you know how that can be. Another fight week. I mean, I always ask this: are they all the same? Do you try to keep it consistent? You train at this point, you do this at this point, or you just let it flow and not think about Saturday? Think about Saturday. Talk us through the next couple of days.
It's a little bit of everything, man. I think as the more you do something, the more you grow and get better. You know, with weight cut, with training, with your training partners, with, you know, your different methods of doing things. So I think you just get more educated and smarter as you go. But as long as you still have that joy and youthfulness of, I love this, you know, I love what I do, and this is the best thing, and I belong here. This is what I'm made to do. So, yeah, I just enjoy it. You're getting closer, and as you get closer, you get more confident, and it's just a real experience, you know?
Talk about, because we don't talk about this enough and a lot, the mental health portion of, you know, keeping your mind right, keeping your mind straight. You know, you're going to be in a fist fight in a couple of days, but on the same line, it doesn't matter if it's a fist fight, a radio show, going to work at 7-Eleven. I mean, it's all about keeping your mental, you know, going and connected as well.
Yeah, I think keeping your calm and keeping your cool is something that's really important, just because there's going to be a lot of external things that, you know, basically try to pull you in different directions, and you got to just train yourself to focus on you and focus on what makes you happy, and find your inner peace. And that's why I enjoy this, you know, even though there's the chaos of the fighting, it's kind of like you got to find that little warrior inside, you know, that you decided to do this since the beginning. And that's what I do it for.
You know, we had Adam on earlier, and we talked about, you know, Saturday's going to come. No matter what you do the next couple of days, it's going to come. But people forget, you know, like you're just talking about, like I needed to make a phone call this morning at 8 a.m. I couldn't sleep all night because I had to make this phone call at 8 a.m. Well, 8 a.m. came and I made the phone call. Nothing changed. And we all just have to realize that, you know, whether it's a fight or just everyday life.
Yeah, I think just being present, living in the moment, but also like, you know, being prepared for certain things. You just have to just be, you know, be yourself. And it's like we only get this life once, you know, so just kind of don't have to over stress it and like think, oh, I got to do this or that. Just kind of live life how you should, and work hard and go fight and get the win.
And that'll happen on Saturday. Talk about your opponent. And typically I say, does it even matter about the opponent? It's about what you're going to do on Saturday, not what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, again, it's like that Bruce Lee quote, there is no opponent, you know. Of course there's somebody or something in front of you, and that guy's he's a good opposition, and I'm really gonna be a good fight. And just like, you know, in life and everything, there's gonna be different forms of things coming against you, and you got to just focus on what you have to do and the tasks you got to do to get the job done. This guy, you know, brings a lot of strength, and he's you know, very physically strong and then mentally. So I got to make sure that I do what I do best in different forms and just take him out.
You said you enjoy what you do. You're good at what you do. Do you follow other sports? What are some of your hobbies?
You know, I've a lot of different little things over the years. But lately just been playing video games. I got my son now. I got my first son. So, yeah, just hanging out with him and being around the arts and stuff and music. I love music. Being outside, Arizona's cool. So
How old is your son?
he's 8 weeks.
8 weeks. Okay. Well, I always like to find out, when my guests have children, because I don't know if you remember, and we'll do it later, but I always make sure we get your address and we send you a nice little care package from 8 Man Strong for coming on. But I've since picked up a really cool sponsor. It's called Fantasy Pets, and they're 3D dimensional, like dinosaurs, and they're really super cool. We have some in our studio. So we're going to send one of those to your son as well. Because I like thanking everybody. I've been told some really weird stuff that I won't say on the air. I'll text you that as well. So I always want to take care of, the family and the children, and, because they're putting up with, now he may not be right now putting up with the stress of what you're going to do on Saturday, but as they get older, obviously they will.
Yeah, he's going to be getting his shots on the same day I'll be cutting weight tomorrow. So.
So you both might be crying at the same time.
Yeah, we're both going to be in pain together, but then we'll also be, celebrating together.
That's good stuff. Do you collect anything? Are you a collector of, whether it's sports memorabilia, music memorabilia, art? What's your fashion?
Collecting souls. I collect in the wind, man. I collect wind in life. I'm gonna collect new feats and things that are, making me grow, but also like literally too. Collectibles, not really. I kind of used to, but I'm trying to be kind of more minimalist now. But yeah,
my wife would like if I'm like that, but I'm not. So I'm
trying. I can collect things.
I don't even try. I'm going to be honest. I don't even try. We fall into stuff. Now that it's been announced, are you going to be on that very long list of people hitting up Dana to be on the White House card?
That would be awesome. It would be super cool to get on that card. I think that just depends, and that would be sick. I would be honored to be on that card for sure.
I'm just telling everybody, get on it early, because that list is going to get long. So the sooner, obviously, take care of business on Saturday, and then the sooner you can.
I think that's number one. And then, we'll see from there.
It definitely is. All right, final question for you as we continue to get to know about our guests. And tell me, if you could have dinner with any 4 people, living or passed away, real or fictitious, nobody from the gym, not the family, who would those 4 people be?
They could be not a lot, or
yeah.
Honestly, I think I'm not saying like specific people, because I'm not really sure, because there's so many different people, but I think just somebody I would like to have, like somebody that's really like, can tell stories, like maybe some type of, I guess I'm not sure.
Okay. Oh, no, that's fine. Think about it.
Probably somebody that's like a genius, but not like too smart where I can't understand. But I would like to talk to somebody that's, like an Einstein, just to see how their brain is.
Well, you said not too smart. Einstein, is going to be.
Yeah. But I mean, just even to be around him, and then also to have some crazy like, like Achilles type of guy,
right.
And like.
Well, here's what we can do. So we always do a Victory Wednesday. So I'll give you a week to think of who those 4 people are, and then you can be our Victory Wednesday representative next week.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
All right, there we have it. All right, Connor, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Enjoy your walks around New Orleans. Enjoy the process. I know you will. Have fun on Saturday. And like I said, I know we have your address. We're going to send you a care package from 8 Man Strong, as well as something for your son from Fantasy Pets.
Appreciate you, man. Let's go.
Take care. Take care. That's Kyler Phillips back in the octagon on Saturday. We're going to hit this break. When we come back, we're going to talk about MMA bobblehead and what they've got going with the Dustin Poirier. And at 110, we're going to earmark that. That's when our new sound drops. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Don King, and I'm listening to Talking Sports with Randy Harris. Join me. Don't touch that dial. We got something in store for you.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
Say goodbye to outdated equipment and welcome the latest smart technology into your home. With Cool Breeze AC, you can effortlessly control the temperature and create the perfect environment from anywhere at any time. Call Cool Breeze today at 727-954-3605.
You're hungry. Where do you go to eat?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
You want to have a drink? Where do you go?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Having a get-together with the guys from the softball team? Where do you do it?
That's right, Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Located at 1320 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, right across from Tropicana Field. Berg's is the best place to take the whole family for food and fun. Going to a Rays game? Have dinner before the game at Berg's, and after the Rays win, come and celebrate with all your friends at Berg's, right across from the Trop. So come down and see Berg and the whole gang at Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Experience the charming Country Depot gift shop located in the heart of downtown Brooksville, located at 36 North Broad Street. From sports memorabilia to antiques, from handbags to one-of-a-kind art and decor, the Country Depot has it all. Check them out at countrydepot.com, Country Depot on Facebook, or stop by the store at 36 North Broad Street in downtown Brooksville. 8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8 Man Strong.
Hi, everybody. Ernie Harwell of the Detroit Tigers, and I want to recommend Talking Sports with Randy Harris, one of the great shows of all time.
All right, we are back coming to you live from the Tan Talk Radio Network. Trying to get a hold of Dave Manley, so let me send him a text. Please call us. He's got a great promotion going, and I think people would like to get involved in it. It has to do with the Dustin Poirier bobblehead, and I know he doesn't have many left. So if that's of interest, okay, just send him the 800 number, as his cell was not working properly. I happen to have one of these. I do not have one of the autograph models, but I believe Dave Manley has a few of those left. So he will be calling in momentarily to talk about one just over an hour into the show, an hour and a half left. If you are old enough and remember Happy Days, well, Anson Williams will be on in about 40 minutes to talk about some stories that he told me roughly 30-some years ago, a story involving him and Willie Mays, which I'm sure that he will remember, and the fact that he will be coming to town August 1st through the 3rd for the annual Tampa Bay Comic Convention. We do have some tickets to give away. If you'd like to go, all you need to do, go to the website, knockoutradio.com. On the contact link, send me your information. You know, I try to give things away. I ran across a young man at Disney World on Monday, and he was wearing, I think it was a Phillies shirt. And I made a comment, you know, typically Phillies fans, you know, go Phils. And he responded, go Phils. So I'm like, hey, dude, I've got some game jerseys that I still have left over from back when Bright House Network's field flooded. And I said, I'd love to send you one. Go to my website, knockoutradio.com. On the contact link, send me your info. So he was in line to get ice cream, as we just got ours for my granddaughter. And he comes over, he's showing me the website. He goes, is this it? I said, yes. Perfect. So later in the day, or maybe it was Monday night, I see the contact, and he just responded. That's all he said. no address, no info. So if you want to win something, you need to provide the information as well, just not your name. We're finding out, Get Slept just told me this, that even with all the information, the box didn't arrive in time. I'm kind of taking, from the John Gruden, send me a box, I'll open it, we'll have some fun. So if you'd like tickets to the Tampa Bay Comic Convention, just go to the website, knockoutradio.com, send me your info. Send the name, the address, and the email. Sometimes I can shoot them email-wise. Sometimes I can mail them to you. Or I'll just put your name at a list here at the station, and if you come with 5 forms of ID, they may give it to you. So something that you can do. Ben Askren, definitely not out of the woods. It appears the surgery was successful, but you really won't know success for weeks, months down the road. My complaint, and I've been complaining about it nonstop, why do people complain that other people didn't reach into their pocket and help somebody? If they want to do it, do it. If they don't want to do it, you're certainly not going to make them feel bad to do. And yes, I'm talking about Jake Paul calling out Dana White. When I responded, I know I shouldn't respond to this stuff. It's none of my business. Nobody needs my help. Nobody cares my thoughts when I'm sticking up for somebody. Dana certainly doesn't need or want. But I responded by, Dana has done so much for people that people don't know, because Dana doesn't do it for that reason. Dana does it for the right reason. He's trying to help somebody. Do we know if he reached out? He has since responded to all the questions and said he had. He had called Ben Askren's wife, reached out to Ben Askren's wife, but he wasn't obligated to do it. And you can't, every single person that needs help. And yes, he needed it, but he did reach out, and he's not the type of person to, pat himself on the back or, I know for a fact what he has done for other people. I know for a fact what he did for Ryan Bennett's family, because he enabled me to do things that other people were not allowed to do. Go into the back, go talk to fighters, talk to Lorenzo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was just kind of a little PO'd, for Jake, just to take another, hit, another dig at Dana White, which as it turns out was uncalled for. I'm sure I'll get into it over the next hour and a half. But before we run out of time on this segment, let's go to the phone lines and welcome back to the program. It's been a long time, my good friend. Hey, Dave, how are you? Dave Manley.
Randy Harris, Naked Pizza Man.
Well, the Naked Pizza Man is obviously naked because he's not here.
Oh.
He's MIA. He's missing in action. But enough about him. I want to talk to you. I saw that you're doing some great things, as you always do. But with Dustin Poirier's final dance in the octagon, I saw you're doing some specials. You have a couple Dustin Poiriers left.
You know what? The last dance, Randy, what I did, I make bobbleheads out of these fighters, and I make them out of their famous poses, and they're limited. They're one of a kind. I'm never going to make them again. They're all numbered. And I made these red bases just for whatever. I wasn't sure. And they came out way better than I thought they were going to ever come out. It was just kind of a shot in the dark. Let's just see how it works out. Dustin loved them. He signed 100 of these bobbleheads, and he signed them in these gold paint pens on this red base. It really, really pops. So I've been sitting on these until the last dance this week, and now I'm releasing them to the public. So I have 100, and they're for sale now at mmebobblehead.com, and whoever gets them, it's going to be a real collector's item, that's for sure.
How many have already sold, and what numbers are already gone? And I'm asking for, I don't know, my personal reason.
Well, you know what? I offered them to. I have a VIP cage side club where I have, fans of the MMA bobbleheads, and they purchase every single one, and they have a reserve number. So I'm reserving most of their numbers. Some people haven't got back to me yet if they don't want them, but obviously all the lowest numbers, are gone, and so it's been great. Hopefully, I could sell out of these and people get to have them in their hands. But if I've made one thing that is a collector's piece, this will be it.
I'm running to the website. You'll have to talk among yourselves. I need to go get one ordered.
Yeah, don't worry, Randy. No, seriously, these are really, really cool. It's amazing, Randy, how like I never thought about these bobbleheads as being like collectible or anything that would even gain in value in the future. Like I'm just a massive fan.
Can I just interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
It's a shame nobody ever told you anything like that.
Randy, you have a big part in this whole thing. It was Randy Harris, everyone, who told me, "Hey, Dave, why don't you number them?" It was like a light bulb going off in my head. Yeah, Randy, you're exactly right. Why don't I number them? The first two bobbleheads I made, Dan Henderson and Chuck Liddell, they were not numbered. I went on Randy's show after the Chuck Liddell release, and Randy told me, "Why don't you number them?" And they've been numbered ever since.
Smart idea.
Yeah, great idea. Well, you're a collector, though. I'm not a collector. I have no business in this space, to be honest with you. I've never even owned a bobblehead before I started making bobbleheads. I didn't collect anything. So, it's like these ideas come at me, and I'm like, oh, yeah. But, yeah, that was a good one.
But that's why you do need to be in the space because, it's kind of like, owners that they're not necessarily a fan of the team. They're just a fan of the sport. They're a fan of winning. You know what I'm saying? The product sometimes is better when you're not emotionally involved in it. Even though I know you're a big fan and you're a fan of, a lot of the athletes, you were a fan of making a great bobblehead, which made this product a collectible, making them, like I've always called them, figurines, not necessarily bobbleheads.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the biggest idea that I ever had with making these two things. Why don't people make the bobbleheads or figurines in poses that other fans would recognize? And that's so true for MMA fighters because there's so many great poses that people are known for. And then number two, why do bobbleheads always suck? Like, why do bobbleheads always look the exact same? Like, you don't even know who this person is unless you read the name. And I wanted to elevate it to a whole nother level. So when, I sold out of a couple of these bobbleheads, these autographed bobbleheads, sometimes I'll go on eBay. If someone sent me something the other day, Bruce Buffer, like a low number Bruce Buffer was selling for $399. Like, are you kidding me? Wow. I never thought that ever. So I know that if you're a collector or if you're a hardcore Dustin Poirier fan, this red base gold signature 1 of 100 is going to be a collector's item for sure.
And certainly not, to hurt me and pat myself on the back. And obviously the naked guy who's not here definitely wouldn't do it anyway. That drives up even more interest. Like, even if you're not a fan of Dustin Poirier or MMA or whatever, if you have that, whatever that number may be, and my number, so I won't say it, but whatever it could be, it could have been your high school baseball number or your birth date or whatever. Yeah. I've collected art. If you saw my house, I don't have art in my house. I have a couple pieces of art only because it's that number. So yeah, it makes it more collectible, but it's got to be very rewarding for you, Dave, to hear that story, that it is selling on the aftermarket, that it is gained, popularity and it's worth more.
Yeah, Randy, I do trip out on the popularity and the numbers that, because people will message me and say, "Oh, I just bought this for, $199 and it's on your site, for $149 or whatever." So I do trip out on that. But what I trip out on the most, Randy, is when people send me photos of their collection and it's in a nice case with their nice lighting, or it's in their office. It's a nice dental office, and they're there, and it's just like, well, man, sometimes I just take a step back and I just really, it's kind of almost emotional. Like, I can't believe it because this has been such a incredible journey from just an idea to actually making these, and to see people have them, even 1 or 2 or 3, it's just amazing.
We are talking to Dave Manley, the genius behind MMA Bobblehead. My only complaint to you is, normally when you get something, whether it's a bobblehead, a candlestick, whatever, what's the first thing you do? You open the box, you throw the box away, and then you display whatever you just bought. But no, not Dave Manley and not MMA Bobblehead. Not only do we display the bobblehead, but we have to display the box because it's just as nice as the bobblehead.
You cannot throw away these boxes, Randy.
I
These
know.
boxes, I put in just as much work in the box and the box art as I do with the actual bobblehead. I mean, each box is individually made to the fighter. No one box is the same. And I hire, great artists to do acrylic, original paintings on these boxes or whatever it entails with the fighter. And the fighter has all the say too. I don't go to step 2 without the fighter clearing step 1. The fighter's fingerprints are all over the box, the bobblehead, the note that comes inside, everything encompassing, this piece.
So when will we see the new Patty the Batty bobblehead?
You know what? Whenever Patty the Batty gives me permission to do it, that's the biggest question I get. I get messages practically every day from people. Hey, how about a, fill in the blank bobblehead? And I might as well just cut and paste the answer. If he says okay or gives me permission, I will make it tomorrow. But there's lawyers and managers and money involved, and sometimes those are the biggest pitfalls. Most of the time.
I was going to say, because I can get the okay. Now all the other things I have no say in. But Mike Straka had Patty the Batty at a meet and greet. So we could get Patty, but we'll talk about that off the air. Final question, I appreciate, on short notice jumping on. Tell everybody one more time what they need to do and how quickly they need to do it before these limited edition Dustin Poirier sell out.
I made 100 Dustin Poiriers with red-based gold pen paint. They're all numbered. They come with a certificate of authenticity. You need to go to MMAbobblehead.com to pick one up. They're selling pretty fast right now. So if you don't do it soon, they're gone. They're going to be gone forever.
And then
but just go to the website and check it out.
Go and buy them now before you have to go to eBay and pay 3 times the cost.
Yes.
There you go. Dave, as always, I appreciate your time. Hopefully we cross paths in Vegas or at a fight very, very soon.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Dave Manley from MMA Bobblehead. Let's go hit a break. When we come back, our final UFC interview as we get ready for the big pay-per-view in New Orleans. We'll be right back.
This is Hall of Famer Deacon Jones, and we're talking sports with Randy Harris.
8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you are bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8 Man Strong.
Check out fantasypets.com, where fantasy meets cutting-edge technology. We create breathtaking 3D printed fantasy creatures that captivate hearts and minds, from the T-Rex to the dragons and the shark to the crocodile. Every fantasy pet is a testament to our dedication and precision and quality. You can request custom designs and bulk pricing as well. Go to fantasypets.com. That's fantasypets.com.
The once-a-year event is back. Tampa Bay Comic Convention is coming your way August 1st through the 3rd. Join the ultimate 3-day pop culture experience where you can meet your favorite celebrities, explore an immersive vendor hall, hear special guests share stories, and connect with a community that shares your passion. Tampa Bay Comic Convention is the perfect place to bring your family, make new friends, and share unforgettable moments with fellow fans. Save on tickets now with promo code MAGIC at TampaBayComicConvention.com.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
Hi, this is Jim Palmer, and I'm talking sports with Randy Harris.
All right, we are back coming to you live once again from the TAN Talk Radio Network. Hour number 3, go back in time. Anson Williams from Happy Days and Marlon Wayans, who will be in town in Orlando performing, but also performing this weekend in New Orleans. Let's welcome to the program, Carly Giudice. Carly, how are you?
Great. I feel great. Thank you so much for having me on.
We appreciate your time. Well, I know that after your last fight, you requested and wanted to be on this card, and you got the phone call. So, what was the call like? And how many tickets did you have to provide for friends and family?
Well, it was so awesome to get the call. You know, I'm new to the UFC. After my first win in the UFC, I called out. I wanted to fight in my hometown. And I didn't know if it was going to happen, you know, because I'm new. And a few months later, I got the call, and it was probably the most excited I've ever been. You know, I got a lot of family and friends out here, but a lot of them were already going to see Dustin anyway. So I'm just a little extra spice on the card, you know.
Talk about what it's going to be like to open the card. And I always rip people. I've covered this sport longer than anyone in the world. Started at UFC 1. Anybody who covered it is probably no longer alive. So I always argue, get there early. More times than not, the early fights are the best, and nobody gets to see them because they're lazy and they don't get there on time. Talk about getting there early and watching what you're going to do and how you're going to perform.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm the type of fighter to just scrap, right? Like Dana White called me a dog, and I'm hoping that I can always live up to that. So that's my plan, is to go in there and just make it a fun fight. You know, not that I'm not going to shoot takedowns and do, you know, not that wrestlers are boring. It's a beautiful sport in itself, but I'm going to throw hands, and I feel like that's what people want to see. So I feel like y'all should show up early and watch it, and then Dustin Poirier is going to close it out. So we have a Lafayette opener and a Lafayette closer for the show. Lafayette, Louisiana.
There you go. What a way to open and close. What is it like in Lafayette? You know, obviously DC's from there as well. You know, what's the MMA circuit market? You know, what is it like there, you know, with them and you, and I'm sure others?
Lafayette has a lot of aspiring fighters and fighters that are coming up trying to make it to the UFC. But I think Dustin has talked about it before, that Lafayette has a community, you know, that we know how to work hard, blue collar workers that know that we have to work for the things we want and work for our dreams. So I think that's what the vibe Lafayette gives. And we also support our fighters, and definitely want to see everybody from Lafayette do good. So that's why the crowd is going to be packed with Lafayette supporters, Louisiana supporters, and it's going to be awesome.
Now, I should have called Eve Edwards to ask if I can, you know, steal what he did at a weigh-in once. But one time he came to the weigh-in eating a donut. Any thoughts to get under enough that you could do something like that on Friday?
I've definitely thought that so many times before. I just haven't done it yet. This might be the time to do it, you know? So maybe you saying this was a sign that I should do it, because I was on the fence.
I think you should, and I'll call Eve and even tell them that I mentioned it to you. Do you have a favorite donut, or where is this whole donut thing from, or is it all sweets?
I like all sweets. Cookies are like my second favorite. But donuts it kind of just goes with the pun of my nickname. It's crispy, and I want to have a smooth and crisp fighting style, but Krispy Kreme fits into it, and I love sweets. So that's kind of where it comes from. But my favorite donut is just a plain glazed donut from Krispy Kreme specifically.
You know, I might have to call Krispy Kreme and try to help set this up.
Yeah, that's the plan one day. I would love to have them on board.
Not to keep talking food, but I always, it's crazy to me that when fighters of Fight Week are you know, cutting weight and doing what they need to do, they watch the Food Channel, they smell food, they don't eat it, but they do a lot of food related things the week of. Are you one of those?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm looking up videos. I was watching a cooking channel last week all day, because I was in between training sessions and just watching cooking videos, because I'm like, I can't eat right now, but I'm gonna learn how to cook better, so that way when I can eat what I want, I can make some good stuff.
Now, do you also watch when you're not Fight Week, or is it just so that you can get through this week?
No, I don't really watch when it's not fight. I don't watch when I'm well fed. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about, you know, what's coming up on Saturday in a minute. I'd like to do one or two real quick, you know, on the internet, trying to find a couple of cool things to talk about, and then everything else just, you know, comes out as we're talking. But I realized, because I read it, that you're a former softball player.
Yep. I played softball my whole entire life. I had a scholarship to play at a school in Louisiana. So I went to college out of high school to play for a few years, and then I moved back home, and that's when I started martial arts.
What's the craziest softball story you have?
Man, I don't have one that pops off the top of my head, because it's, you know, softball's not as crazy as fighting. I have some crazy fighting stories here and there, but I didn't have that many in softball.
Well, we'll get to that because I normally ask what's the craziest. And normally I don't like to make it about me, but since you're a softball player, I was in the Guinness Book of World Records for softball.
Oh, wow. No way.
I played in, and they have since changed the rules, so this record will stay forever. I played in the longest slow pitch game ever.
Oh, wow. How long was it?
Take a guess. Now, this was not, it wasn't tied. It was a length, so we knew how long we had to go. And I will tell you this, nobody has ever even been close.
Oh, wow. Do I need to look it up? Are you gonna reveal the answer?
No, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I just want to see how far off you are or how close you can get.
Okay, let me guess.
How many hours?
Like innings? Okay, hours.
Yeah.
4.
104.
What the? How many days is that?
4.5.
That's crazy.
4.5 nonstop. Yep. So
that's awesome, though.
Well, and the funny part is we got 5 minutes off an hour and we could accumulate it. And we played for 2 straight days. But the other 19, there were no substitutes. It was 18 Pinellas County sheriffs, 1 Gulfport police, and me. So on Thursday morning, 2 derelicts started breaking into the cars. And so they had to call like a timeout because we had some time saved. And they ran down Main Street in Safety Harbor, Florida, arresting people. And then they had to get back, and then we finished the game. They've since changed the rules. So at some point, I want to break the new record where they've allowed as many people on a team. So my idea is to get 47 teams together, just call them 2 teams. And like every day you play for 6 hours and play for like 2 years.
I mean, we can make it happen.
It sounds crazy, but all right. So let's talk about Saturday. Let's talk about your opponent and what we can look forward to.
Okay, for sure. I'm definitely excited about this matchup. I think Nicole Colaria is her name. She fought the girl that I fought in Contender Series. Lost to her by split decision, as so did I. But I'm excited for this matchup. I think I can definitely I'm planning on going and putting a beating on her. I know her game plan is to try to take me down and certain things like that. But my game plan is to stuff the takedowns and hit her as hard as I can. So I'm hoping it works out in my favor on Saturday.
What's the walk like, whether it was at the apex or, as you're coming up, the ranks in the career? What are you thinking? What are you trying not to think, as you're walking into a fist fight?
The only thought I'm trying to think is that I'm about to hurt the person in front of me. That really helps me get into the moment and help me tap into my aggressive side. Because if you talk to me, on a daily basis, I'd like to think I'm a sweet and nice person, pretty chill, pretty calm and laid back. But I have to tap into my aggression side when I'm walking in the cage. So I'm just thinking I'm about to hit whoever this is, no matter who is in front of me, as hard as I can. And that kind of helps me switch my mindset.
Well, and talk about that, because a lot of fighters, are the nicest, coolest people I've ever been around. But it's something that switches, that light switch. How does it flip? And when do you know when to flip it so it's not too early or too late?
Usually as soon as they're like, you're ready to walk, and then you start to walk, like, cause me and my coaches, when we're in the back warming up, I try to be as laid back and chill as I can. Just act like it's another day. And as soon as they say it's time to walk, then I really start to try to switch it. But I think all the work that fighters put in and everything it takes to get to this point, I think it helps you make the switch, right? Because you're not going to let the person in front of you take all that away from you. It has to be worth it. So that person in front of you is also doing the same thing, and y'all are both trying to take something away from the other one. So that slight little anger of like, you're not about to take this from me, that helps me, flip that switch.
How important, final question for you, and we really appreciate your time on such a busy week. How important will the walk and the whole, next couple of days and the walk to the octagon, will it be to keep it just like any other fight and not in your backyard and, who's there and you're opening the card and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think all camp, I've been trying to think of it as just another opportunity for me to perform and show the world my skills. Because every day I'm in the gym just trying to get better. I'm not necessarily trying to beat a specific person. Obviously in camp, you game plan and do these things. But even when I'm outside of camp, I'm just trying to get better, because I know that's how you get wins. So if I think of it as just get better to get wins, then every fight is the same. The goal is the same no matter where I'm at, no matter who's in front of me. So, just be the best I can, go out there and perform. It's another opportunity to show the world that I belong in the UFC. So I'm excited.
Great stuff. Carly, thank you very much for your time. I know we have your address. We're going to send you a thank you care package from 8 Man Strong. Enjoy the week and certainly enjoy that walk. I'm sure it's going to be incredible.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me on.
Take care. And that we continue talking about the UFC this weekend. And when we return, Mike Straka back. We'll finish our conversation with his meet and greet and what he's got planned and a lot of cool stuff. Mike Straka's second hour, Anson Williams from Happy Days. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm James Lofton, and you know who you are on the other side of the dial, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
You're hungry. Where do you go to eat?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
You want to have a drink? Where do you go?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Having a get-together with the guys from the softball team? Where do you do it?
That's right, Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Located at 1320 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, right across from Tropicana Field. Berg's is the best place to take the whole family for food and fun. Going to a Rays game? Have dinner before the game at Berg's, and after the Rays win, come and celebrate with all your friends at Berg's, right across from the Trop. So come down and see Berg and the whole gang at Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8 Man Strong.
Hi, this is Don Maynard. I'm talking sports with Randy Harris.
All right, we are back getting ready to close out hour number 2. And the two things I realized, one, we need Mike Straka back on, and that is happening right now. And two, I need updated liners. Don Maynard played in the 60s for the New York Jets, so it's time to step up my game for sure. Mike Straka, welcome back.
You should have gotten one from Carly. When I was listening to Carly speak, she reminded me of Rose Namajunas. Her voice, her diction, her accent. I actually thought it was Rose for a second.
Interesting. That's why we need that StreamYard so people will know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I was doing like some side gigs when I had Dave Manley on from MMA Bobblehead. I'm trying to push him to do a Patty the Batty bobblehead.
Well, that would be cool. Although it would have to be a really big bobblehead.
It would be incredible. It truly would. Do you know much about Dave Manley and the bobbleheads, and do you have any? And
I used to get everything, Randy, as you know. And I was silly, man. I just gave it all away. Like, to me, listen, when I was on Fox and when I was on HDNet and then Spike TV, I just thought it was never going to end. And, maybe I took a little bit for granted, and I certainly was drinking too much. And I definitely kind of sabotaged myself a little bit in a way when I look back on my career. But I also feel like I didn't really value the things that I got for free. I just gave them. I just thought it was good to give them away to people that couldn't get those things.
Let me tell a quick story. So last year, the year before, whatever it was, we went to a Rays game together. You, me, and a few other people. And we walked in, and then we walked into, it was like a media event, and we walked into the media section. It happened to be bobblehead day, and it was Fred McGriff bobblehead. Yep. And we all carried our bobblehead in. And when we walked in, I'm like, "Where's your bobblehead?" You go, "Oh, I gave it away."
Yeah, I gave it to a kid that was working. He's not going to get a free bobblehead. And, I could afford to buy a bobblehead and if I wanted one. And, this kid is working $17 an hour, probably, part-time because that's all he can get at the moment. He was a good kid, 17 years old, 18 years old. Like, let him have a Fred McGriff bobblehead. I appreciate it. I appreciate the gesture that they gave for the media. but we get stuff all the time. You know, as you know, we get free meals. When we go out to certain events, and we get to hang out with celebrities and sports stars, and we kind of live it's not a glamorous life because we do work hard, but it's more glamorous than checking tickets at the race stadium.
Well, but I think you just talked me into me changing my profession, because if I can make $17 an hour taking a ticket, that's 3 times what I'm making here.
well, you are your own boss. You know, and that's another thing that people always take for granted, or they have a misconception. Oh, you work for yourself, and they think that you got it made. Well, no, when you work for yourself, you got to work a lot harder and a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I took a first paycheck in 20 years yesterday.
Good for you.
Yeah, well, it was $50. $50.
You know, that reminds me, when I first started doing a podcast, I did it on one of these podcast networks, and it is a big network. They have hundreds of podcasts, and they've got an ad sales division, and I just thought, all right, this should be good. And they gave me an ad revenue, a cut of the ad revenue. So I did 10 shows, and in those shows, Randy, as you know, we know some good people. I got some A-list fighters on the show, and it wasn't easy. You know, you spend 2 hours booking these guys, and then you get them on, and and then you chase them down when they don't call in. You know, it takes work. And I got a check for $22 after 10 shows.
Been there.
And you know what I said to the guy? I called the guy up as soon as I got the check. I said, "Hey, you know what? This is not fitting into my schedule, man. I can't do it." I didn't say it was about the money. I didn't say it's too much work for the amount of money. I just said it's just not going to fit in my schedule because it just wasn't worth it, Randy.
Sure. So
it really wasn't.
So you just did a meet and greet with Patty at a big sports bar. I know you're doing stuff with Frankie Edgar. Where is the Stratka train going next?
Well, right now I'm just, I'm repairing my relationship with my daughters. I'm really focused on my daughters right now, and I had a great day yesterday with my oldest daughter Maxine. So I'm getting my life back in order, man. Florida was not the place for me, man. It really wasn't. I mean, I fell off my scooter twice. I broke my shoulder. I broke my humerus. I shattered my ankle in a fight. I mean, come on, man. Who am I?
Well, but you didn't break your humor.
No, I didn't break my humor. If you can't laugh at yourself, Randy, then you've got problems.
Well, I got to be honest, and this isn't the place for all this stuff, but when you've already made 2 or 3 comments, and so I will say it publicly, I'm very happy that you're saying those things that you never said when you were down here. That I would assume, because I haven't been in those situations, but you always hear, you always read that, until you admit, and seek help, you're never going to get help. And obviously you've done that.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing I've ever done, to be honest with you. I'm down to like 170. I got my abs back. I wake up and I'm clear over 90 days, man. And, it's funny because I never thought I had a problem. I knew I drank a lot, but I didn't think I had a problem, but I certainly did. And I can see that now.
So
when you're in the throes of it, Randy, you don't really think about, you don't really see yourself from outside of yourself.
No, for sure. So,
and certainly you don't listen to anybody. If you told me, "Hey, Mike, you drinking too much," I'm like, "What do you know, Randy?" You know what I mean? Like, You can't say anything, and it sucks for everybody involved because you try to help your friends when they're in that situation, and they don't. I always say, I have to stop myself because I always want to say I should have done this a long time ago, but I always stop myself because I can recognize that I just wasn't ready to do this a long time ago.
Right. No.
You really have to be ready. You really have to be ready to say, okay, I definitely have a problem, and I gotta address it.
So you did this meet and greet with Patty the Batty. I know that it went extremely well. We talked about it in the first hour. Do you anticipate doing this again? Because I know Frankie and his dad and they were going to try to start something like this. So is that what you're going to try to do moving forward?
Yeah, we're working on that. I'm trying to get Misha Tate to come in October. I haven't reached out to her yet, but I have an old number for Misha, which is I called up and I'm like, "Hey, Misha." She's like, "No, it's wrong number, but you're not the only one who called for Misha." So I've got to find out her new number. We're Facebook friends, obviously, but when you're Misha Tate, you're not looking at your Facebook messages. So I'll figure it out.
I wish you knew somebody that had her number.
I know. I hate asking, Randy. It's one of those things. You and I and people like Tommy Gerbasi and Ariel Hawan, we work hard for our contacts, and we don't just give them away. And of course, I would expect, and I would certainly be reciprocal in anything you ever needed. But yeah, of course, I'm going to ask you for Misha's number.
Well, and I'll say this publicly. Yes, I would, but first I would call her. I would text her, make sure
exactly.
it's, which is what you do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem, but that would be cool to bring her in. I know we were going to do something here. She wanted to come to Gasparilla, here in Tampa, and then wasn't able to do it. So maybe, we can put that together, for next year. Thoughts on this weekend? Have you looked at the card? Thoughts on last weekend with Derek Lewis? We got about 4 minutes. Give me your UFC updates.
I think Derek Lewis he's just phenomenal, man. He really is. It's just one of those things where he's like lightning in a bottle.
Did you ever think that he would come up with a bigger doozy than he took his pants off because his balls were hot?
Never, but he did. He did.
He did.
And I wish, remember when Brock Lesnar did that at UFC 100?
Yes.
But he did it from a place of malice. Like he was angry. He was angry because Budweiser didn't give him more money than he was making. And, at that point, Brock was making more money than any fighter in the history of the UFC.
Sure.
Especially at UFC 100. And I remember Dana was none too happy with Mr. Lesnar that night. But I think everything that Derek says, it comes out and it's with such almost love. Even when he said his balls was hot, it was like so funny. And I love Rogan's expression. Joe Rogan, man, that guy is so talented.
Yep, for sure.
He's so talented.
My first thought when Derek Lewis said, and I won't say it necessarily, I won't say it on the air. All you got to do is Google it. Was A, I would never say that about my wife, and B, my wife would probably beat my ass if I ever said something like that publicly.
Yeah, well,
publicly.
But you're also not a heavyweight UFC.
No, for sure.
Most knockouts. I don't know. I don't think his wife is going to say anything. But yeah, it's funny. I always said when I was, working with Frankie closely, Frankie Edgar, the only person Frankie was ever afraid of was his wife, Renee.
Yeah. Well, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yes, it is.
And I'm not saying anything negative about Derek Lewis or his wife, but, let's look at back in time, the whole Chuck Liddell situation. And when people first heard about it, and I know that I knew from the very beginning, and I was asked to do certain things, and I said, until I talk to Chuck, I'm doing nothing. Everybody heard domestic abuse, and they're thinking, what's Chuck doing? Well, no, it wasn't Chuck.
Right.
It was the ex-wife, and allegedly, just so I can't be sued.
Yeah.
So no, but it definitely was funny. We had Tim Sylvia on earlier, and I don't know if you saw when I responded to the Facebook post about the legend Derek Lewis, and I questioned, and I'd like you to respond as well. And I said it to Tim, and he said it's because Dana doesn't like him, whatever. How can Derek Lewis be considered a legend when he has the most knockouts in a division? And I asked the question without naming names, but a 5-time UFC champion isn't a legend. And everybody's like, oh, a 5-time UFC champion. I said 2-time, when I said the thing, because I wasn't really making reference to Tim Sylvia. And they're like, oh, no, a 2-time, is a legend. And I said, well, Tim Sylvia is a 2-time, 5-time. They go, oh, he's not a legend.
Oh, it's a different time.
He just gets beat for no reason.
As you've said this a million times, the word legend is thrown around sort of ad nauseum. Me and Frank Shamrock got not into an argument, but it was very playful when he was on my Spike TV show. It was during the time when Dana said he will never be in the UFC Hall of Fame, and he was really lobbying for it. And people were coming out saying Frank Shamrock deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And I said to Frank on live TV, I said, listen, if there was an MMA Hall of Fame, you're a shoo-in.
Right.
But you've had 2 fights in the UFC.
Right. Well, that's like, and I know we're out of time. We're at the top of the hour. People are saying Mark Hunt is a UFC legend. He's not. He's an MMA legend.
Correct.
He's not a UFC legend.
So is Cro Cop.
Yeah, well, there's tons. As always, Mike, thanks for calling back in. I want to really kick in some things. I want to really start doing some things that you and I have talked about, with Matt, and try to move everybody, on a little bit.
Sounds great.
Take
Talk to
care.
you soon.
Mike Straka did a super meet and greet with Patty the Batty. 2 hours down. Anson Williams, formerly known from Happy Days, when we return.
Hello, everybody. This is Levante David, linebacker of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you're listening to the Knockout Radio.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way. 8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8 Man Strong.
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City.
FM 102.3.
Listen.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Michael Wallace. President Trump confirms he considered firing Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, but decided against it, at least for now.
President Trump has long complained the Fed chairman has been too slow to lower interest rates, but will he fire Jerome Powell?
So he's doing a lousy job, but no, I'm not talking about that.
But just moments later,
I don't rule out anything, but I think it's highly unlikely.
Unless he said there's fraud, citing cost overruns in the renovation of the Fed's headquarters. He also said he did discuss Powell's future with members of Congress.
I said, what do you think? Almost every one of them said I should.
By law, the Fed chair can only be fired for cause. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
The president is again lashing out at his own supporters who are calling for the release of more files in the Jeffrey Epstein case.
It's just a subject. He's dead. He's gone. And all it is the Republicans, certain Republicans got duped by the Democrats, and they're following a Democrat playbook.
CBS's Scott McFarland.
For the Attorney General Pam Bondi, the FBI Director Kash Patel, and the Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino, they were 3 of the loudest voices calling for Epstein information release in 2024. Before they took office, before they assumed responsibility.
House Speaker Mike Johnson wants all the files in the Epstein case released. Some California farm workers have begun a 3-day strike. CBS's Camilo Montoya Galvez explains why.
Well, these farm workers are making several demands. The main demand is to have Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Customs and Border Protection stop conducting large-scale immigration roundups in Southern California.
The workers are also urging Congress to approve a pathway to citizenship for farm workers. An estimated 40% of them are in the U.S. illegally. 20 Palestinians were killed today in a stampede at a food distribution site. CBS's Linda Gradstein has more from Jerusalem.
The Israeli and U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation said most of those killed were trampled to death and accused armed elements associated with Hamas of deliberately fomenting the unrest. The Hamas-run health ministry said some of the deaths were caused by tear gas fired by workers at the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
CBS's Michael George reports a new study finds certain exercises help you fight off insomnia.
Research published in the British Medical Journal found yoga, tai chi, walking, or jogging all had the biggest benefit to improving sleep quality and reducing insomnia. The study suggests exercise could be an alternative to conventional insomnia treatments like drugs and therapy. Yoga in particular led to nearly 2 extra hours of sleep time.
Wall Street has woken up after a slow start. The Dow's up 122 points. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Tampa Bay's Tan Talk.
Entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine State.
Hey, it's Misha Tate here, former UFC world champion. I'm here with Randy, the OG of the UFC, and you're listening to Knockout Radio.
Okay, we are back coming to you live from the TAN Talk Radio Network. Our next guest will be appearing at the Tampa Comic Convention August 1st through the 3rd. I met him about 30 years ago when he was a guest at one of my charity events, which he may not remember, but he will definitely remember the story. Let's welcome to Knockout Radio, Anson Williams. Anson, how are you?
Hey, fine. I thought it was only 3 years ago.
Yeah, it seems like that. I don't know if well, you'll definitely remember the story. So about
All right. I can't wait.
Well, you won't remember me, but you will definitely remember the story. So
if I remember the story, I'm sure I'll remember you too.
About 30 years ago, you were directing an episode of Sequest.
Yes.
And you came as my guest along with our mutual friend, Paul Sermons, to the Ted Williams Hitters Hall of Fame banquet. And we were sitting there, we were talking together, we ate dinner together, and we were supposed to go meet the President Bush, but then you guys got called back and you had to go back to Orlando. So you were telling us all of these stories, and you said how your daughter wanted an autograph from Willie Mays. And, I told you the story that a friend of mine wrote a book, the best to get autographs from and the worst. And in the book, Tom Bunovich wrote the absolute worst and second worst is Willie Mays. And then you started to tell me these stories about, Happy Days, which we're going to talk about. And then when you guys got up to leave, Willie Mays literally was leaping over tables to come over.
No. The story is, we had to leave early because I was prepping Sequest.
Right.
And so I had to get up early and all this. So we had to leave early. Paul went to get the car, and there's nobody out there at all. Quiet as a mouse. Quiet. As I'm waiting there, I hear, "You made me laugh. You made me laugh." And there's Willie Mays. He comes up to me and says, "I just want to tell you, you made me laugh on Happy Days." And I was like, me and Willie Mays alone. And I said, "Can I ask a favor?" He goes, "What's that?" "Can you please sign an autograph for my daughter, Hannah?" He goes, "Sure." Takes out his pen, signs it. Halfway through, it runs out of ink. He goes back inside, gets another pen, comes out. The second half of the autograph was in another color. He goes, "You made me laugh. Thank you." And he goes back inside. He's going back inside. Paul drives up with the car. And I said, "You'll never, ever believe what just happened here. You can't believe this." And that's the story.
So I didn't know why he was jumping over. I just knew that he was hustling out. So I don't know if he saw you walk out or whatever, but I didn't know.
He must have, because I was out there waiting, and he came outside and he walked up to me.
That's awesome. That makes the story even better. But I've never known that portion. So did you ever get it? Well, really, that's a unique ball. I'm sure that nobody has an autograph like that.
It wasn't a ball. It was on the program.
On the program. Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
two different colors.
That is crazy, but that's a fantastic story. I know that you told us a whole lot of stories, when we were at the Hitters Hall of Fame dedication. What's one of the first that you remember from back in the day when you were on Happy Days?
One of the first stories?
Yeah, the first story that comes to mind of anything.
The first story that comes to mind was getting the part again. There was a pilot for Happy Days, but it was without Fonzie, without Ralphie. Marion Ross was in it. Ron was in it. I was in it. Different Joni, different Mr. Cunningham. Much softer, more like Summer 42 type show. And we shot it, and it didn't sell. So we all went back to our jobs, whatever. And I was starring in a film with Kay Lenz for Hallmark called Lisa Bright and Dark. And I got a call from my agent saying, "Hey, Grease is on Broadway. It's a hit. American Graffiti came out. It's a hit. ABC wants to redo the pilot you did last year, but more like American Graffiti." I go, "Great. When do we start?" They say, No. You have to screen test this time." "What are you talking about?" "Well, they think you and Ron might be too old." The network. Oh my! So there we are, Ron and I in wardrobe, getting fitted for the next day's test. And Ron said, have you ever done a screen test before? I go, no. He said, they don't take a lot of time. He said, I think if we can find out where the test is being shot, what stage, we can block ourselves. And, Gary Marshall loves spontaneity. He loves when you come up with ideas. He said, let's block ourselves and then act like we're coming up with it at the moment when we do the screen test. I go, great. We find the stage. The painter's just finishing up. And we block ourselves out to do some cool stuff for the little scene. Next day we come in. There are, probably 8 Potsy and Ritzies waiting the screen test. Some really famous people too. But Ron and I are first. We're supposed to be 20 minutes. We get done. It's been 2 hours on the screen test. We walk out. Everybody going in next is freaking out because we looked at him and we said 2 hours, man, 2 hours, and we got the parts again. But that's how. But we just didn't get. It wasn't easy.
Crazy. What was it? And again, I remember you telling me this, but my dementia's kicking in too. So many years ago. Did you guys expect once the show was put back together or put together? Expect what it turned into?
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, we almost got canceled before we turned into it. When we first started the show, we were a one-camera show like American Graffiti, and it was exhausting, 16-hour days, just exhausting. And so we came in mid-season, and that mid-season, I think the highest rating was number 15, which isn't bad. Then we came back for the second season. At the end of the second season, 1.5 seasons, we were down to 48th place, almost canceled. That's when Gary Marshall went to Fred Silverman at ABC, who was head of ABC at the time. And he said, give us a chance. On The Odd Couple, when I took The Odd Couple, we were one camera, and then you allowed me to switch it to live audience, and it became a hit. Let me switch Happy Days to live audience. Let me change the whole tone. I think it'll be a hit. And Silverman gave us 13 more episodes. So when we came back, now it was 3-camera, live audience, totally different energy. But we were all ex-theater people. And that's all of a sudden we went to number 1 in the world. And all because of the change. And then that's when the history started taking place.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm normally more wrong than right. Henry Winkler's part really wasn't the Fonz at the very beginning, correct? It kind of developed into that?
Henry, it was actually, the part was written for kind of a big goofy guy, kind of funny biker. And it ended up being between Mickey Dolenz and Henry, because Henry had this different take on it. And so anyway, Henry got the part. It was only 6 lines. But Henry absolutely invented Fonzie. He's a genius, brilliant. The whoa, every detail of that character Henry Winkler created, and then they wrote from that. So he single-handedly made it into this forever icon. And all of a sudden, 6 lines became the show. And people would ask me, "Oh my gosh, are you jealous of Henry?" And I tell him, hell no, he bought me a house.
Right.
Keep going.
Right. Exactly. How much fun was it, doing that show? And I remember you saying how close knit everybody was. And if I remember, you said that you guys, it was in your contract, you had to go, charity events and softball games and stuff on the weekends.
Oh, no, it wasn't in our contract. Gary Marshall, our mentor, our wonderful mentor, and second dad, loved sports, number one. And most of us were ex-athletes. Henry learned to pitch, but other than that, we were all ex-athletes. And he wanted to put a softball team together so we could play the major stadiums in the country, 3 games and all this. It was kind of a fantasy. He also felt that if we're a team, that would come back to the set. You always have the back of your teammates. And he'd think it would stop any kind of ego on the set. It would make it a better show and make it a better collaboration as a team. And it worked. So we created the Happy Day softball team. We were good, and we played in every major stadium in the United States. We would do pre-games at Yankee Stadium, Brewer Stadium, Dodger Stadium, Wrigley Field, you name it. And we would do pre-charity games and be there with the real players and work out with them. And it was incredible. Then we started doing USO tours, and we would play. We'd go to Okinawa, we'd go to Germany, playing against the Marines, the Army, the Air Force, the Navy. And when people ask us, what are your favorite memories of Happy Days? It's not on the set. It's these memories on the road around the world as a ball team. I mean, experiences you can never, ever duplicate. That's what rings true for all of us, for the greatest experiences. I mean, we were playing the Third Infantry Division in Germany. We were staying in a town called Petersburg, and there's 1,000 or plus year old castle there with the original knight's armor and everything that they turned into a restaurant. And at the table, instead of having water dispensers, they had wine dispensers, red and white. So we weren't feeling too much pain, and we went out there on a over 1,000-year-old balcony overlooking the Rhine River in Würzburg, probably where princes and kings stood, before, and we sang Splish Splash the entire town. And you can't make up these stories.
Right. Hey, Anson, as I said on the phone, thanks for all the work that you did on Happy Days. You kept us all entertained for all those years. I wanted to ask you about it's got to be the most emotional scene ever in Happy Days, the point where Fonzie had to say goodbye to Richie, and Richie had written a letter. Were you actually there for that scene? And if you were, can you describe what it was like there for that scene?
Oh, I mean, there were a few scenes like it. You see the scene where Richie was going to die in the hospital.
Yes,
and Fonzie talks to God. All those. I mean, well, you cry. It's just brilliant. We had, it was a week's rehearsal too. So it was like it's just wonderful seeing something like that develop. But it was always. I mean, Gary put in a lot of little emotional morality, scenes in there, emotional scenes. He broke it open. He hired disabled actors to break through that glass ceiling. I mean, he's just it was an amazing experience. I mean, there were so many moments like that. The moment Robin Williams came on the set,
Did the term "sit on it" come from Happy Days, or was that just adopted?
It came from Happy Days. Actually, that one, Bob Brunner came up with it, one of our exec producers. They were looking for, a line that would stick, and they came up with "sit on it." I don't know how he got it, where he got it, but he's the one that created it.
We are talking to Anson Williams. He'll be in the Tampa Bay area August 1st through the 3rd out at the Tampa Bay Convention Center. We have tickets we're going to give away. Talk about, the experiences and how much fun you have. Fans come to meet you and it's fun for them.
Yeah.
How fun is it for you to meet all these people that have all these stories, of what you did for them?
It's so much fun. It's so meaningful. Because, without them, I wouldn't be talking to you, without our fans, And it's just wonderful to know I was a small part of something that really was a positive part of people's lives. It was a time that was simpler. There wasn't the internet and 800 channels. There were 3 basic networks, and families would there'd be a camaraderie around the television set on Tuesday night, and they would share it. And there was something in the show for everybody. It was hip enough for the kids, nostalgic enough for the parents. It just created a family unit for a brief shining moment there in front of the television, and I just think it echoed into so many areas of their life, and that's our job, is to make people feel good, and really prioritize what's important, and family's important. I think the show really brought family together.
No, for sure.
And it's just so emotional to hear story after story of how that show affected it. And Gary Marshall, our father, our mentor, our boss, he's the one that really knew how to hit the hearts of not just America but the world. I mean, people from Africa come up. It's not, and they are affected by this show. They don't even know this culture.
Sure.
You know, you go to other areas of the world where they dub it in their language, and it's equally powerful. So, just so fortunate to be part of something like that will be ongoing. It's part of a legacy, and also Gary made sure that we used Happy Days not only on the set, not only as a baseball team, but he made Paramount Studios our college. He inspired us to learn many areas of show business, the last. So I was able to shadow Polanski directing Chinatown, John Schlesinger directing Dade the Locust. Every day I'd be shadowing, we'd be educating ourselves in the entertainment business so we could wear many hats. And Gary always said, there's going to be a light on you. You're going to be famous. You don't deserve it. You got to take the light. You got to take the light and put it on people that deserve it, that are doing something good. That's your job. And that's what we did. There's a lot of people out there doing massive good things for people. Our job was to bring attention to it. Also, our job was to educate ourselves. Don't let our ego get in the way. Use the Paramount law. Educate ourselves. Wear many hats. You don't know how long you're going to be an actor. There's going to be, take advantage of this. And we did. I had 10.5 years of film school,
Right.
And that was just the whole. So Happy Days not only making people, happy and have good memories, but just the addition of being able to have a career. There's so many parts of our lives are all because of Happy Days.
Talk about the difference and the difference in preparation of being an actor and then being a director.
Oh, a little different, especially a show like Sequest, which is, 100 people on the set, all with different jobs, monumental budget, Spielberg production. Oh, an actor, your job is that one part. As a director, you're a storyteller, you're a craftsperson, you're a psychologist, you're whatever it needs to get that job done. You have time schedules. There's just, so much prep and so many responsibilities to get the job done. And again, being on Happy Days, having all that experience, being able to observe all these fabulous directors helped me tremendously in educating myself. So I was really ready when I started directing film because it's a complex job. And I had the opportunity to really have the tools to be able to have that career too.
Before we let you go, obviously we're predominantly a sports station and sports show. Talk to me, are you a fan of teams, of sports, of players? What's your sports love?
Oh gosh. I just love Kansas City. I got to tell you, I love them. I do. More than the Rams.
All right. So you're basically a football guy.
Yeah, I am a football, and yet I played baseball. I was, Little League All-Star and all that. But I played football too. In high school, I played football second string. It was so great. Like this little guy put me in a defensive end, second string. So the big guy Bayless, who was 6'4", 240 pounds, when he got tired, they put me in to get my ass kicked. And you look at the films. They show you the films of each game. Everyone has white backs, but me, mine's black because I've been hit so many damn times.
It's a Rudy.
And I still have the pain, But anyway, so I decided, I really like watching football. Yeah.
It's definitely safer. Couple real quick follow-up questions. Again, you'll be at the Tampa Bay Comic Convention August 1st through 3rd.
Everybody come out there. In fact, if you come up, I'll even do a little, put your head on my shoulder, personally, right to you if you come up and say hi.
That's all you have to do. What's the craziest piece of memorabilia somebody's brought up to you, whether it's at a comic convention or, any other appearance that you've been at?
Oh gosh. I'm blank on this one.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I think it was a blow up of me at 23 years old. There was one in surfer shorts, and that's it. And it was like 4 feet high, a cutout.
Right.
And it wasn't a girl that brought it up. Okay. So.
Okay. Well.
And I thought, great, fine. But I thought, wow, you went to a lot of expense here.
Right,
you know?
to get that. Kind of another memorabilia question. Were you able to keep anything? And I don't even know if anybody thought of things like this back then, from the set. Nothing?
Great question. Let me tell you how stupid I was. 3 things. One, remember when they burnt down Arnold's and they made it into a brass skeller?
Yes.
Right? Well, they came up to me and they said, listen, before we burn the middle table, you can take it home.
Oh.
I go, nah. Didn't do that. Then there were three leather jackets. One was Smithsonian. Henry had one, and Nicky Sherrard, our costume guy, had one. It's the last day of Happy Days. We're going. He literally has the jacket. Anson, would you like this? Nah. Yeah, turn down the leather jacket. And then the last one, to show my stupidity, they said, hey, the jukebox, someone's selling the Happy Days jukebox, you can have it for $1,000. Nah. So, yeah, I kept my the Webster, the Webster High School jacket, not the Webster, the Jefferson High jacket, and I kept the sweater. That was it.
I don't know how to follow up.
If I had the jacket, I would own this house.
Yeah. And it's crazy about the table. When I was in the military, they decommissioned the ship I was on. It was called the USS Barry. And when they took it to Texas to sink it, I called the owner of the Salvation Company and I'm like, can I buy the table where we would eat or the door to the Combat Information Center where I worked? I told him I would walk from Florida to Texas to get either one of those. And the Navy wouldn't allow it, and they blew everything up in the middle of the ocean.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, at least you were smart enough. To at least go for it.
I definitely tried. Anson,
I'm right there in my lap.
That's like I said, I could talk to you forever, but I don't know what my next question would be after you telling me you turned down the jacket.
Okay, just don't make it public. Oh, shoot, we're on the radio. Damn.
It's too late. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again. It'll be a 30-year gap in between last time we were face-to-face and August 1st through 3rd. Have you been in Tampa before?
Oh, yeah, many, many times, 2 years. Oh, yeah, many times.
Okay.
I haven't been there, but I haven't been there for quite a while. But I love Tampa, many years.
Well, we will talk again at the Tampa Convention Center. I will be out there all 3 days. I'm looking forward to seeing you. I know we have your address. I'm going to send you a couple care packages. Or you know what? I'll just keep them, and then I'll hand them to you when I see you in a couple of weeks in Tampa.
Awesome.
Anson, thank you very much for your time. Looking forward to seeing you again.
Looking forward to seeing everybody. Come on out, everybody. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anson Williams coming to the Tampa Bay area August 1st through 3rd. If you would like to go out and meet him, if you'd like to go out and have him sing to you, he just said all you have to do is ask and he will sing to you. Just hit me up on my website, knockoutradio.com. We've got some groups of tickets to give away. In the contact link, just tell me who you are and address and email, and we'll get you some tickets. All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, Marlon Wayans. Show continues.
That is Larry the Cable Guy from the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
Say goodbye to outdated equipment and welcome the latest smart technology into your home. With Cool Breeze AC, you can effortlessly control the temperature and create the perfect environment from anywhere at any time. Call Cool Breeze today at 727-954-3605.
You're hungry. Where do you go to eat?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
You want to have a drink? Where do you go?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Having a get-together with the guys from the softball team? Where do you do it?
That's right, Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Located at 1320 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, right across from Tropicana Field. Berg's is the best place to take the whole family for food and fun. Going to a Rays game? Have dinner before the game at Berg's, and after the Rays win, come and celebrate with all your friends at Berg's, right across from the Trop. So come down and see Berg and the whole gang at Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Experience the charming Country Depot gift shop located in the heart of downtown Brooksville, located at 36 North Broad Street. From sports memorabilia to antiques, from handbags to one-of-a-kind art and decor, the Country Depot has it all. Check them out at countrydepot.com, Country Depot on Facebook, or stop by the store at 36 North Broad Street in downtown Brooksville. 8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8 Man Strong.
Matt Millen down in Tampa. You're talking sports with Randy Harris.
All right, we are back. Final half an hour, final 2 segments of this episode of Knockout Radio. Hit me up on the YouTube channel, knockoutradio.com, approaching 71 million views, and or the website, knockoutradio.com. So I always try to keep my conversations, I call them chats, 8, 10, 12 minutes. I don't want to keep anybody on, long. We had Anson Williams on for 25 minutes, and I could have gone on and on and on. And I'll do the question that I wanted to ask next, but I kind of felt like it was time. I'll ask at the Tampa Bay Comic Convention what was it like working with Pat Morita or the Sensei, more popularly known, I'm sure, from Karate Kid than anything else, but Mr. Miyagi. And, with the way Cobra Kai has come out and, the spinoffs and all that kind of stuff, Mr. Miyagi pretty much stole the show. And I don't know if you know this, because I read this recently, that when he first kind of read for that part, they didn't like it. And he came back more with the accent and the look and, just the whole demeanor, which obviously was a very important part, of that show. But the Tampa Bay Comic Convention in a couple weeks, August 1st through 3rd. If you're in the Atlanta area and you're tuning in, or if you can get to Atlanta this weekend, we have tickets for the Atlanta Comic Convention, where a lot of the same guests that'll be here in a couple weeks will be there. But if you're already up there, why not take some free tickets and go hang out? All right, so we're still talking about this weekend's UFC, the final fight. I always hate saying the word final, because so many athletes retire, they say it's it, and then they come back. But this is supposed to be Dustin Poirier's final ride. MMA bobblehead, Dave Manley was on earlier, came out with a limited edition bobblehead with the red base. Hopefully he's only going to sell 99 of them, because hopefully I'll be able to obtain the one. I know my number is gone because I collect, like I mentioned when Dave was on, a certain number, but because of this and how limited it is, I guess I'll get a new favorite number. But UFC this weekend, a lot of great fights on the card. We'll run down the card. Matt will be on in about 10 or 12 minutes, and we can address, this weekend's UFC. We can address a lot of other things, that's going on. Coming up here momentarily, the return of Marlon Wayans, who heads to the Orlando, basically just the outskirts of the Tampa Bay area. So, we will have, matter of fact, we're ready for that. Our next guest, like I just said, will be bringing his Wild Child comedy tour to the Orlando Funny Bone this Friday and Saturday. And I'm excited to welcome back to the program, Marlon Wayans. Marlon, how are you, sir? Hello? Oh, we're not ready. We're getting the address, because we always get that, so that I can send a thank you gift, or I could just hand deliver it, as I'm going to head up to Orlando this weekend. 5 shows, I believe, will be at the Funny Bone. You can get tickets at their website, the Funny Bones website. And I found a couple interesting things about, his show and how being a comedian, we hang out a lot with Russell Peters and, kind of the same stories. But we're going to try to find out a little sports-wise, where Marlon comes sports-wise. Is he a fan of sports? Is he a UFC fan? What? Oh, technical difficulties here. So should we hit the bottom of the hour break? You want to do that? All right, so let's hit the bottom of the hour break, and then when we come back, Marlon Wayans.
This is Lomas Brown, and you're talking sports with Randy, the Monster Jam Man.
8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8 Man Strong.
Check out fantasypets.com, where fantasy meets cutting-edge technology. We create breathtaking 3D printed fantasy creatures that captivate hearts and minds, from the T-Rex to the dragons and the shark to the crocodile. Every fantasy pet is a testament to our dedication and precision and quality. You can request custom designs and bulk pricing as well. Go to fantasypets.com. That's fantasypets.com.
The once-a-year event is back. Tampa Bay Comic Convention is coming your way August 1st through the 3rd. Join the ultimate 3-day pop culture experience where you can meet your favorite celebrities, explore an immersive vendor hall, hear special guests share stories, and connect with a community that shares your passion. Tampa Bay Comic Convention is the perfect place to bring your family, make new friends, and share unforgettable moments with fellow fans. Save on tickets now with promo code MAGIC at TampaBayComicConvention.com.
Hi, I'm Martin Gramatica, talking sports with Randy Harris.
All right, so we have the Tampa Bay Comic Convention coming up. Anson Williams was just on. UFC 318 is this weekend. And also this weekend, our next guest will be bringing his Wild Child comedy tour to the Orlando Funny Bone this Friday and Saturday. Let's welcome back to the program, Marlon Wayans. Marlon, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Not too bad. We appreciate your time. I recently read that once you tape a comedy special, you retire that material. So I'm curious on the process of working on new material.
I do it on purpose because then I feel like when I'm telling jokes, it's like skydiving. Every joke, you're jumping out of a plane and hoping the parachute opens. So I don't want to rest on the laurels of, I know what the joke is. I like to discover new jokes because I think that's like a boxer just throwing punches, not worrying about, my left hook always hits. So punches from everywhere.
That's interesting. What makes a joke work? And well, I guess if you knew what doesn't, then you wouldn't use those. But, what makes a good one?
I think a little bit of truth, a lot of pain, a lot of self-deprecation. And fearlessness, right? You got to have a level of I don't give a F. I sprinkle it with that.
Is there anything off limits in a joke?
Nope. Everything is fair game to me. I'm an equal opportunity offender, so I like that. Especially if anything's happened to you or family members or experiences that ring true to you, you can speak about it and you can have your honest point of view. I think it's hard when people punch down because they didn't go through it,
right? Or
they have no real association with it, so they're talking about it from an ignorant point of view instead of from a point of experience, and then it has teeth.
No, definitely makes sense. I know we talked last time that you were on, working with your family. How difficult is it? I'm sure it's awesome, but how difficult is it as well?
Oh, one of the hardest things you'll ever do, especially when you're the baby. Everybody want to tell you what to do, and I'm like, no, I think this. You're too young. And it took me to start going on stage and really building Marlon to really get the ear of my brothers. And some of them still don't listen, but I'm not. I think we all contribute equally, and it's not about who's the boss. It's about what joke is the best.
You know, in any family, you know, there's things that are said and people get upset, but it's a family. So you get over it when you're family, correct? And that's why I always say, you know, guys in the gym, we're family. Well, you're really not, because you take things differently than family would take if you say something.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, you kind of are. I mean, you could choose your family as well, but it's just a honest understanding. And at the end of the day, we could disagree, but we just love each other in spite of all that.
Well, something happened, you know, in my life a couple years ago. It's the stupidest thing ever. I was late to a very close friend's birthday party, and he told me, be late, go to the sporting event. So I got there late, and his kids call me uncle. We were like, I'm doing the air quotes, family. And he said, don't ever talk to me again. Where I don't see somebody in my family, especially if I'm told, go to this other event first. So that's why I'm saying it is a little bit different.
Yeah, but some people, when they do that, that's God protecting you. That's like, there's friends that's coming in and out of my life, and when they were out of my life, I trust God. God was like, get that terrible person out your life, and how, by all means. And if they decide to do it, everybody did you a favor. Trust them.
I like it. Okay, I like it. What's funny to you, and who's funny to you?
I like random stuff. I like a good fart joke. I like watching people fart on their dogs and the dog's reaction. I like, I find dark stuff online that's pretty funny. People falling, people getting hit by, doing some dumb stuff, like this one guy that he's like, today I'm going to do this trick and I'm going to smash this microwave with my head. And he jumps off a bed onto this microphone, on his microwave, and then he breaks his shoulder. I thought that stuff was funny to me. I don't know why. I just think it's so ridiculous, and how desperate people are for fame. It makes me laugh.
Well, and that's the way on like YouTube videos and stuff too. You could do a serious story. And I shot a video of a UFC fighter who missed weight, and she cut her hair. She weighed in, then she cut her hair and weighed in, and she made weight. Then they had her hold her hair that she just cut off for like a promo photo. And we've got, honestly, millions of views of people saying how stupid she weighed in holding her hair.
That's crazy.
Which
that's something I would laugh at.
No, I'd laugh at.
People aren't trying to be funny, and it's just funny. It's just the ridiculous and the absurdity, the stupidity.
Right. What's the craziest, strangest, funniest thing that ever happened while you were on stage?
I don't know. Pick the time, man. People are just crazy. I'm lucky because I have bad hearing. So sometimes I can't hear the people and the hecklers and what they're talking about. So other people have to point them out because I can't hear them. I think God did that on purpose so I can stay focused on my set.
That works too. Maybe that's what I'll work on. It's just, and my hearing already is bad, but that's definitely a way. So what can...
Yeah, but God's doing you a favor. That's what you have to understand. You keep asking why, and I'm just like, bro, everything is God doing you a favor.
Okay.
The guy that cut you off, he was probably about to ask you for a loan. God knows what he's doing.
I like it. No, you're right. You're right. So let's talk about Friday and Saturday. I think it's 5 shows you have this weekend. What can we expect? Where I'm going to get in the car, I'm going to drive up from Tampa because it's a whopping 42-minute drive. I'm sure a lot of people from the Tampa Bay area are coming up. A lot of people in Orlando are listening right now. Looking forward to it. What can we expect to see on Friday and Saturday?
Expect the unexpected. Expect to have a good time. Expect to laugh. That's first and foremost. I want people to leave feeling good, that it's okay to laugh at each other, laugh at the world, and laugh at themselves.
And that's obviously something we need more now than in the past.
Absolutely.
What's final question for you? And again, we certainly appreciate your time. What's somebody that you haven't worked with, whether it's a comedy movie or a TV show, that you would like to in the near future?
Wow, I'd love to work with Denzel Washington. I just think he's incredible, and I would love to him or Sam Jackson. I love Jake Gyllenhaal on the drama side Comedy-wise, Eddie Murphy, I've worked with. I love him. I would love to do a two-hander with him. Martin Lawrence and Jim Carrey.
Funny that you said Denzel Washington first, because we love him. My wife and I love him, but she hated the movie Training Day. And I said, that's why he is an A+++ actor, because he was able to pull off a character that you didn't expect, and you disliked it because that's not what we know of Denzel Washington.
Yeah, I have a very similar kind of role in the movie Him, this Jordan Peele movie. It's a psychological horror thriller, and it's in the vein of a Training Day. He's a likably unlikable villain and shapeshifter.
Awesome. Can't wait to see it. Marlon, I appreciate your time. Looking forward to seeing you again this weekend on stage in Orlando at the Funny Bone.
Absolutely. Thank you, my brother.
Take care, sir. That is Marlon Wayans, second time on the program, and a really good guy. And he's telling me I'm being directed, and I'm going to take those directions. This is Knockout Radio. We'll be right back.
This is Rick Nash from the Columbus Blue Jackets, and you're listening to Talking Sports with Randy Harris.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
You're hungry. Where do you go to eat?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
You want to have a drink? Where do you go?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Having a get-together with the guys from the softball team? Where do you do it?
That's right, Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Located at 1320 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, right across from Tropicana Field. Berg's is the best place to take the whole family for food and fun. Going to a Rays game? Have dinner before the game at Berg's, and after the Rays win, come and celebrate with all your friends at Berg's, right across from the Trop. So come down and see Berg and the whole gang at Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
8-Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you are bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8-Man Strong.
Hey, this is Dylan Hart Jr., and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
All right, we're back. Final segment here, coming to you live from the Tan Talk Radio Network. And according to my new good friend, Marlon Wayans, it's God's way. God keeps pushing these people away. And I guess God keeps pushing this guy back. So let's go to the phone lines. God doesn't want this guy to go away.
Hey, ¿qué pasa, Randy Harris?
What's up?
I just got back from Mexico, man, you know?
I'm surprised they let you into Mexico, and I'm surprised they let you out of Mexico, and I'm even more surprised that they let you back into the Gulf of America.
Me too. I didn't know. I was like, okay, let's go.
I think you sound you sound more like Danny Trejo.
Yeah, like, that's my brother. I have a guitar and everything, you know? It's wonderful. No, man, Margaritaville, FC. If you haven't done it yet, do it. It was a fantastic time, and saw my boy Josh Rinoli on the boat. That was an unexpected surprise. Saw another guy that looked like a guy you know. So we had a good time.
What'd you think of Orlando Magic?
I didn't meet Orlando,
but he was the cruise director, right?
No, I had a ZJ.
Oh, that stinks. Because the absolute best person on that cruise ship, and as far as I'm concerned, that cruise line, because I haven't been on any of the other cruise ships in that line of Margaritaville at sea, Orlando Magic is a dude. That dude is the cruise director to the stars.
Well, I'll tell you what. I went to the military celebration they had in the lobby on the last day. They brought all the branches up. They celebrated everybody's service. People gave their rank and their tour duties. And she is an Australian tour, like a coordinator. You know, she's Australian, but she was so like passionate about the veterans in America and celebrating them. She teared up and was crying during the celebration.
Wow.
So it was phenomenal to be a part of it. This trip is amazing. We had a great time. The food was phenomenal. If you haven't done it, you got to do it.
Did you finagle your way into the speakeasy?
You know, I didn't want to be me on the cruise.
Come on. Come on. I know you too well.
But bro, I was hiding from ICE the whole time.
Okay.
You know, I was just at the Home Depot. I was sending them back home. But I didn't go. They were, I was with my kids, with my wife, so we didn't do the bar thing or the nightlife thing. But I didn't do the tour.
Yeah, it's pretty cool with the Jimmy Buffett memorabilia, and I mean it's a cool ship. You know, we're still have a couple of the balcony rooms available, so we can still hook some people up. I know Shane Grossman just registered and got his cruise. I'm going to be going again either in December or January. So it's definitely a lot of fun. It's laid back. It's different. Some people like it. Some people don't. I'm in the direction of liking it. I like living in flip-flops, shorts. I went to the steakhouse in shorts and flip-flops. Well, you can't do that on these other stuffy, which are still fun. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm glad that you guys had a good time.
Yeah, and I talked to the cruise director about possibly putting some of the mobile gyms in their gym facility.
Yeah, of course you did.
Because they had 2 stationary bicycles. They had like a couple of hand weights. It was a hidden room, worse than the speakeasy. You had to go upstairs, downstairs, and walk through a hallway to find it.
Well, the truth is, since you don't know where the museum is, you have to walk through that gym, and then you go through a curtain right to the left, and it's like right back in there. So not only can't you find the gym, that's why you can't find the speakeasy either.
Well, and I was like, look, we can make this cruise so phenomenal where people actually have actionable steps they can take back home after the cruise is over, after the food, the buffet, after the escape. Then they can actually start measurable, actionable steps to get a better quality of life going forward. Because let's be honest, a lot of our veterans are not faring so well right now. They have too much weight on their bodies.
Some of us are doing pretty good, though. Some of us are doing pretty good.
Yeah, because you've been around me. Now imagine me getting to see 3,000 people every time the boat leaves dock and cruise for 5 days, coach and mentor, and then come back home. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I think that's true. Everything you've told me, I've done the exact opposite, and I feel so good.
It works.
Well, like Marlon Wayans just said, God has a way of telling us different and strange things. So, he keeps telling me, ignore Matt. And look, I've dropped, well, I'm into the 70s now. So I've dropped over 50 pounds by staying away from you.
Well, that is cardio. Listen, Winky Wright still runs away from me every time he sees me at my gym.
Well, that makes sense too. Hey, did you happen to catch the All-Star game last night?
I did not watch any baseball. Although I heard that the Rays are going to stay in Tampa.
That is, it appears that to be correct, which for people that were saying that I was wrong, I wasn't wrong because the present owner never moved them to Tampa. So go. You want to go to Tampa? Head to Tampa. I don't care. I just know that people that are not supporting them in Tampa now, claim that they will if they get things that they want, like easier parking, cheaper parking, a roof on the stadium. Fans go no matter what, but they're not going to Steinbrenner. It's crazy.
Yeah, and but they say they're going to build the stadium Ybor over by the cruise terminal, right?
No, that's where one of the partners of the new ownership already has property.
Okay.
Because it's going to be so easy to get in there.
Yeah. How do you get in?
You just went there.
Park at IKEA.
Yeah.
Park at IKEA.
Well, that's a long. Where did you park when you went?
We parked right next to the boat. I mean, literally the first parking spot as you walk in.
Awesome parking. Yeah. getting in, getting out, not to get back on the cruise again, but it definitely was phenomenal. Next week, we start training camp with the Bucks. So the football season's getting ready to start.
All right.
I don't know if you know this, and I'm a little PO'd about it. So not only did the ESPYs, in my opinion, disgrace the MMA award, not once, but twice. So they already announced the winner, and they had the UFC do it on Saturday. So as much as they've been a partner, do you feel, A, that that's a dig with them leaving, at the end of the year? And B, my other problem is kind of like the Little League World Series. Do you know that the ESPY is not the best MMA fighter?
It's just a fan favorite, right?
Well, it's the UFC. You got to make it, the sport is mixed martial arts. You're not picking out, best team sport of baseball. It's the best team, and it's, the NFL champ, the Major League Baseball champ, whoever else it is. I just kind of felt like it was and it may not have been, but to me, I felt like it was a backhanded slap, to MMA, and then to have the UFC announce it and not have it done tonight.
Are backhanded slaps legal in MMA?
It depends on if you do it with an open or a fist.
Does it really?
Yeah. Tim Sylvia defends this weekend.
That's an open hand slap.
And unfortunately, I had a shirt or two for you that I brought here today, but since the naked guy has disappeared, I'm going to give it to Ed.
Congrats, Ed. That's no, sometimes things just don't work out. It's I was just having one of those days, man. You ever lock yourself out of anything? You ever lock your keys in the car, or lock yourself out of the house?
All right. So should I give you the Dave Wagenfort role of radio?
Yeah.
Or do you just want to ignore it?
Go ahead.
Dave Wagenfort, the former owner, since passed away, and we still miss him on a daily basis. But his comment once was, he don't give a damn. You find a way into the radio station. If the radio station's locked, you break a window. If someone's sleeping on the couch, you wake them up, walk over them, and get to the broadcast. That's from Dave Wagenfort. So
okay.
Maybe walk from the cruise line. Think how many steps you could have got in.
Man, I was an hour away by vehicle. I'd be there by next Wednesday if I walked it.
You must be the slowest driver I know then.
Why is that?
Well, because when I drove to Georgia last Wednesday, I was like into Pasco County in 45 minutes.
Really?
So
well, you don't cross the bridge at 4:00 on a Wednesday afternoon. By the time you hit South Tampa at 4:30.
All right, hold on.
5 o'clock.
Hold on. We're having God speaking. He's getting involved. I'm not about getting here. I'm not talking about. I don't care how you get home. You there was no traffic at noon.
That's true.
And
I didn't have keys to.
And the first thing Ed said, and he had a frown, and I said, "Turn that frown upside down. It's okay. He's not going to be here. We can all be happy." But
well, I got stopped at immigration. They
well, when you talk with that accent, I can see it.
Hey, no, it was great though. We went down off the beaten path. We found like a local place to get in the water on the beach with no tourists. It was phenomenal, man. All the listeners listening right now, make sure you get a cruise. Email playersclub@margaritaville@c.com. Put in Knockout Radio. Send a picture of any casino player card. And I took money home. I was a big winner in the casino. I won a roulette and I won a blackjack. So it actually paid me to go.
So they're not inviting you back?
Probably not.
Well, I talked to the powers that be, and they're very happy of the response. Obviously, the more people that we can help and hook up with a free balcony room, not just an interior room, a balcony room, they definitely want to do it. All they got to do is email me if they didn't stay up on all the information that you just said. We'll hook up more people, And then we'll start working on doing a knockout radio cruise and a lot of other cool stuff as we go. So
And the balcony is bigger than the studio you're broadcasting from right now, Randy. It was so big. My kids spent the whole time outside. It was amazing.
Well, they did that because you locked the glass door, but you know.
That's true. Actually, true story. The handle, the latch inside the handle locked, and we couldn't open it. They had to go in through my boy Josh's stateroom next door to us. I didn't know Josh was on the boat. We walked past each other on the hall. I'm like, yo, Josh, what's up, man? So we were like his family, my family, and we were rooms side by side on the whole boat.
All right. Luckily, this is over. The show's over. And more importantly, I'm done with you. That was Matt, Knockout Radio. Until next week, see everybody. Thanks to all our guests.